Chapter 1282. Tianmeng had said that there were no benefits, but the benefits he could give Murong Yu were shocking. After all, if he used it well, he could even save Murong Yu's life. What treasure was more valuable than Murong Yu's life? Of course, everyone wanted benefit. Murong Yu was no exception. As a result, he looked at Tianmeng. When I was killed, all the treasures on my body were taken away. I don't have anything on me. As if he knew what Murong Yu meant, Tianmeng spoke before Murong Yu could say anything. Murong Yu was slightly embarrassed, but he still asked, "What's with the treasures in the space of Skyfire?" Those treasures were all naturally nurtured by the space of Skyfire. Their fire attributed heavenly resources. However, they're too low grade. They're useless to you, Tianmeng immediately replied. Who says they're useless? If there's a large number of heavenly resources or saint artifacts, I can refine them and increase my cultivation, Murong Yu murmured inside, but he did not say it aloud. Are there any treasures with tremendous power in the space of Skyfire that aren't treasures? Murong Yu didn't demand anything like a sacred artifact. After all, what he needed the most were items that contained immense power. No. Tianmeng's firm answer left Murong Yu depressed. At the same time, Murong Yu suddenly thought of the so-called supreme quality saint artifact he had bought in White Sun City, the Astral Wind Secret Light Bell. As a result, he took out the black bell and said to Tianmeng, "Senior, can you take a look at this supreme quality saint artifact? Is it sealed or destroyed?" Swish. Tianmeng said nothing, but a powerful force swept the Astral Wind Secret Light Bell away. Afterwards, the Astral Wind Secret Light Bell hovered before Tianmeng and was enveloped by flames. Soon, the Astral Wind Secret Light Bell flew back to Murong Yu. Tianmeng's voice sounded in Murong Yu's ears. "I can't tell if it's been destroyed or sealed." Hearing this, Murong Yu felt a little disappointed. He could only put the secret Gale Bell back into his body. What he didn't notice was that when he returned the bell to Murong Yu, Tianmeng's voice sounded a little strange. What Murong Yu didn't know was that Tianmeng actually knew about the Astral Wind Secret Light Bell and its origins. But why didn't he tell Murong Yu? He didn't even tell him whether it was sealed or destroyed. These super experts were all crazy. Just when Murong Yu put the Astral Wind Secret Light Bell away into the Hichu Luoshu, Tianmeng suddenly said, "Oh right, I suddenly thought of something. Is it the non-treasure you mentioned?" Afterwards, a fist-sized orb that burned with flames shot over from the horizon. In the end, it hovered before Murong Yu. This is the essence of the flames. It's condensed from the space of flames over countless years. Apart from containing the essence of the flames, it's useless, Tianmeng explained. It really is useless. Murong Yu didn't even sense the slightest ripple of energy from the heavenly fire orb. However, it was definitely a supreme treasure in his eyes. The light from the heavenly fire orb was so bright that it almost blinded him. To him, the orb was even more valuable than a supreme quality saint artifact. If he could refine it, he could at least reach the undying realm, or even the imperishable realm. Suppressing the excitement in his heart, Murong Yu put away the heavenly fire orb with a bright smile on his face. At the same time, he smiled and said, "Then it would be impolite for me to refuse. I wonder if Senior has any other orbs like this? A man who is never content is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. I really don't have any more. After so many years, the space of flames only condensed this orb," Tianmeng said indifferently. He didn't seem to care at all. However, what Murong Yu didn't know was that the heavenly fire orb might just be a toy to others. It had no use at all. However, to the people of the heavenly fire race, it was a supreme treasure. Because it was the essence of the flames, it had the effect of increasing the cultivation speed of the heavenly fire race. Moreover, if the experts of the heavenly fire race could swallow a heavenly fire orb, they would be reborn and have the heaven-defying effect of increasing their talent and aptitude. Simply put, The heavenly fire orb could transform a fool of the heavenly fire race into a genius. Such a precious heavenly fire orb was directly given to Murong Yu by Tian Meng. What was his intention? Senior, then do you have a way to increase my strength? For example, something like enlightenment? You also want to regenerate your physical body as soon as possible, right? However, with my current strength, I really can't do anything, so… After putting away the heavenly fire orb, Murong Yu continued to shamelessly ask for benefit. Tian Meng felt a little dizzy. Wasn't this guy too greedy? Yes. If I use up my current cultivation, I can directly raise you to the Sage King realm. Hiss. Sage King realm. Murong Yu couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. He was instantly excited. He looked at Tian Meng with blazing eyes. Senior, your strength didn't come easily, so you don't need to raise me to the Sage King realm. Just raise me to the imperishable realm or the profound sage realm. Tian Meng smiled. You really want to raise your cultivation level? If you really need it, I don't mind. Do I still need to think about such a good thing? Murong Yu asked in return. He was already prepared. Tian Meng continued to smile. I advise you to think about it carefully before making a decision, because once you accept my enlightenment, your physique will transform into the physique of the heavenly fire race. Although the heavenly fire race isn't bad, there's still a big gap between us and the chaotic celestial body. Most importantly, if you were to be enlightened by me, you will never be able to improve your cultivation. Murong Yu immediately smiled embarrassedly. If that's the case, then I'd better cultivate on my own. Tian Meng continued, It's not just me. You'd better not accept anyone else's enlightenment. Perhaps they can raise your cultivation level to an extremely high level in a short time. However, it's basically impossible for you to continue to increase your cultivation level in the future. Murong Yu's heart trembled, swish. Just as he was about to continue speaking, he suddenly realized that the scene in front of him had changed. The next moment, he found himself in front of the teleportation gate in Heavenly Fire City. I'm actually teleported out. When he saw where he was, Murong Yu couldn't help but gnash his teeth. He had originally planned to continue searching for treasures in the Heavenly Fire space. He didn't need low-grade treasures, but Shengzhen's disciple did. I still have to go back in. Murong Yu turned around and was about to enter the heavenly fire space again. However, just as he took a step forward, a heavenly fire city guard blocked his path and looked at him with a gloomy expression. Everyone can only enter once. If you want to go in, wait until the next weekend period. His expression was cold and murderous. Murong Yu didn't have any doubts. If he dared to take a step forward, the city guard would definitely attack. Low-level Undying Realm. He didn't care about experts of this level, but there were many city guards near the teleportation gate. Most importantly, this was Heavenly Fire City. If he dared to attack, the experts of Heavenly Fire City would definitely kill him. Unlucky. Murong Yu cursed and turned to leave. Little bastard, stop right there. Just as he turned around, a gnashing teeth and an incomparably resentful voice sounded. When Murong Yu turned around to look, his pupils abruptly shrank. But soon, a bright smile appeared on his face. What a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you in Heavenly Fire City. Li Chong, how are you? How are your two brothers? Li Chong was a mid-level Undying Realm expert of the Great Dragon sect. In the Sea Secret Realm, his two brothers, Li Yu and Li Shang, were both killed by Murong Yu. Back then, he had chased after Murong Yu to kill him. However, Murong Yu had managed to escape. But today, they were able to meet again in Heavenly Fire City. It was really fate. Hearing Murong Yu's words, the surrounding people thought that the two of them were good friends. But the situation didn't seem right. Murong Yu had a bright smile on his face, but Li Chang's face was filled with resentment. Could it be that this guy raped this guy's woman? Why is he so angry? Someone pondered. Looking at Murong Yu with resentment, Li Chong gritted his teeth. Murong Yu's words almost made him vomit blood. "How are you? How are your brothers?" This wasn't a greeting, but a sarcastic one. Endless killing intent burst out from Li Chong's body, almost condensing into a substance. "Heavenly Fire City prohibits private fight. Otherwise, you'll be killed without mercy." Just as Li Chong's killing intent was bursting out, a city guard's cold words extinguished his burning killing intent. At such a distance, Li Chong was confident that he could kill Murong Yu and prevent him from escaping. However, once he killed Murong Yu, he would be killed by the city guards of Heavenly Fire City. It wasn't worth it. Thus, Li Chong sneered and withdrew his boundless killing intent. He merely looked at Murong Yu with an indifferent expression and continued to sneer. Of course, he knew that Murong Yu was a soul sage. His power had already filled his soul space to prevent Murong Yu from suddenly killing him. "Why are you so nervous?" "It's not like I'm going to kill you," Murong Yu indifferently replied, then turned around and left. Hearing this, the surrounding people were all shocked. In their eyes, Murong Yu was only a first-level saint, while Li Chong was an undying realm cultivator. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Li Chong sneered and followed Murong Yu. "You have to be careful when you're so close to me. If I kill you, those city guards will think that you died suddenly." As they walked, Murong Yu's voice suddenly rang in Li Chong's ears. "Soul Sage, huh? Little bastard, I'll make sure you die without a burial ground." Li Chong sneered, his voice extremely cold. Murong Yu's heart sank as a bad premonition rose within him. Chapter 1283. After saying that, Li Chong followed Murong Yu back to the courtyard where Murong Yu was. He didn't say a word during the whole process. He just looked at Murong Yu with extreme hatred. Even after Murong Yu entered the courtyard, he still stared at the door not far away. He was like a venomous snake, ready to bite Murong Yu at any moment. Murong Yu was extremely unhappy, but he couldn't do anything to Li Chong. After all, whether he could kill Li Chong or not was still unknown. Even if he could kill him, he wouldn't do it immediately. However, other than staring at him, Li Chong didn't do anything excessive. Therefore, he couldn't kill him with a borrowed knife. When Yi and Gong Sun Ningyu hadn't returned yet, because he had their soul jade slips, Murong Yu knew that they weren't in danger now. Therefore, he didn't bother to care about Li Chong outside. He directly entered cultivation and began to familiarize himself with his stronger body. A low-grade sacred tool body didn't mean that Murong Yu's body was equivalent to a low-grade sacred tool. Of course, the difference wasn't too big. With Murong Yu's current strength, his body was inferior to a low-grade sacred tool. However, if Murong Yu was an undead realm expert, his body would definitely surpass a low-grade sacred tool. If an ordinary sacred tool body was a piece of tofu, then a low-grade sacred tool body was equivalent to a piece of glass. Although it was still fragile, it was much stronger than a piece of tofu. In the case of the same strength, which one was stronger when glass and tofu collided? It went without saying. After half a day, Murong Yu had consolidated his cultivation and familiarized himself with his new body. His strength was at least 10 times stronger than before. After half a day, Murong Yu suddenly felt something strange in the air. Then, he extended his ocean-like divine thought. In the next moment, his expression changed drastically. He didn't know when, but a group of people had surrounded his courtyard. The weaker ones were ordinary saints, while the stronger ones were imperishable realm experts. Apart from that, many powerful divine senses shrouded the sky above Murong Yu's courtyard. Among these people, there were definitely experts who surpassed the imperishable realm. Profound sage or even ancient sage. What's going on? Murong Yu had a bad feeling. However, he soon realized what was going on. Because at this time, everyone outside was talking about Murong Yu. Their eyes were burning, and their faces were filled with greed as they stared at Murong Yu's courtyard. He was like a hungry wolf staring at a flock of sheep, choosing people to devour. They weren't talking about how handsome Morong Yu was, how strong he was, or how talented he was. Instead, is this Morong Yu really a soul saint? I've heard that he's only a first-step great sage. However, by relying on his soul attack, he was able to kill several undead experts. It must be a soul saint. Otherwise, how could he kill undead experts? That Li Chong made a solemn vow. It said that he was once killed by Morong Yu's soul attack. If it weren't for Heaven Fire City, he would have killed Morong Yu a long time ago. Could it be that he wants to kill him with a borrowed knife? It's possible. However, I've heard that White Sun City is in an uproar. The Li family and Blood Rain Mountain's ancestor-level experts are coming. If Morong Yu is really an ordinary saint, then why would they come? It's said that he's a profound sage expert. They're definitely here because of his soul saint. Morong Yu's face turned ashen as he listened to the crowd's discussion. That bastard Li Chong had leaked the news of his soul saint. Now, almost everyone was staring at him. As long as Morong Yu appeared, these people would probably swarm him. Who didn't want to have their soul saint? Although Heaven Fire City strictly forbade private fight. However, rules were always used to restrain the weak and had no effect on the strong. Morong Yu knew that if his soul saint was confirmed, those experts hiding in the dark would definitely make a move. Knowing that he had obtained the soul saint cultivation method, so what if he offended Heaven Fire City? This risk was worth taking. What should I do? Morong Yu's face was gloomy as he pondered. He definitely couldn't stay in Heaven Fire City any longer. He wanted to leave this place immediately. Who told him to not be strong enough? If he had enough strength, he would directly suppress everyone outside. Who would dare to have ideas about him? However, Gongsun Ningyu and Wen Yi hadn't returned yet. If he just left like this, it wouldn't be in his character. Damn. The two of them. Thinking of the two of them, Morong Yu's heart thumped. When he was in White Sun City, even Li Dif, a profound sage powerhouse, had shamelessly detained Gongsun Ningyu to threaten Morong Yu. How could there be so many people in Heaven Fire City who had ideas about him? Morong Yu now only hoped that Wen Yi and Gongsun Ningyu wouldn't come out for the time being. However, they would still come out in the end. Right now, there were probably people waiting for the two of them at the teleportation gate. Once they appeared, they would be detained. However, before they're sure, they shouldn't dare to make a move. I'll go to the teleportation gate and wait for them. Once they appear, I'll immediately take them away from Heaven Fire City. Thinking in his heart, Morong Yu was about to leave the courtyard. However, right at this moment, an incomparably powerful aura shot over from afar like a vast ocean. In the blink of an eye, it had already arrived in front of Morong Yu's courtyard. That incomparably powerful aura poured down like an avalanche, suppressing the courtyard. However, because of Heaven Fire City's special relationship, this person didn't dare to be too presumptuous. Morong Yu, you little bastard, get out here right now. A thunderous voice rolled over, shaking the countless sages around the courtyard. They couldn't stand steadily, and some even vomited blood. Li Dif. When he heard this voice, Morong Yu had already recognized the identity of the person who had come. Immediately, he pushed open the door and walked out. He's Morong Yu? A first-order great sage? Is he really a soul sage? When they saw Morong Yu, everyone's eyes shot to him. Little bastard, hand over your life. Seeing Morong Yu come out, Li Di stepped forward with a face full of resentment. A powerful aura seeped out of his body, and wherever it passed, the sages were directly sent flying. Unscrupulous. Damn it. Too arrogant, too arrogant. Those who were sent flying by him all looked at Li Di angrily. However, they were suppressed by Li Di's strength, and didn't dare to say anything. Morong Yu stood at the door calmly and looked at Li Di with a calm face. Li Di, long time no see. How are you? How's your brother? His words made people vomit blood again. You're courting death. Looking at Morong Yu's mocking smile, Li Di was instantly enraged. With a roar, he grabbed at the air with his big hand. He grabbed at Murong-yu from a distance, wanting to take Murong-yu down. A terrifying aura suddenly erupted. The many experts who had gathered on the street changed their expressions when they saw this. Like monkeys scattering when the tree fell, they quickly retreated in all directions, afraid that they would be implicated. Murong-yu, on the other hand, remained motionless in his original position. Instead, he looked at Li Di's large hand that was rapidly approaching him with a mocking expression. Seeing that the big hand was about to grab him, Murong-yu suddenly turned his head and looked at Old Man Yi, who had come to the crowd unknowingly, and said slowly, "Old Man Yi, I'm being attacked in your house. Shouldn't you do something?" "You've already left the vicinity of the house," Old Man Yi said expressionlessly. Murong-yu's face was filled with astonishment as he turned to look behind him. He found that he was indeed a distance away from the door. So, he took a few steps back. Whoosh! Just as he stepped half a foot into the door, Li Di's big hand had already grabbed him. The wind was fierce, the momentum was shocking, and the murderous aura was soaring. However, Murong-yu was sure that Li Di wouldn't dare. No, it should be said that Li Di wouldn't kill him. He was very jealous of the soul's sanctification. Cunning brat! Old Man Yi coldly snorted, and then the big red hand that Murong-yu had seen before suddenly appeared above him. However, the power emitted by the fiery red hand was much stronger than what he had seen before. The big red hand shook slightly, and then slapped down fiercely. With a bang, Li Di's big hand that had grabbed Murong-yu's scalp directly shattered. At the same time, Li Di's whole body shook, and then his whole person was sent flying. Puff! In the void, Li Di spat out blood. He had actually been injured. Seeing this, the saints who had been suppressed by his momentum before couldn't help but show joy and ridicule on their faces. Who didn't know that they couldn't fight in Heaven Flame City? Moreover, the target was the person in the room. A profound sage was considered a small expert in the holy world. However, in Heaven Flame City, even saint kings didn't dare to be presumptuous. Even a dragon had to coil. After slapping Li Di away, Old Man Yi shook his head and helplessly said, "Young man, your temper is still too strong." However, in Li Di's ears, it made him very angry. Li Di walked back, glanced at everyone, and then stared at Old Man Yi and said in a deep voice, "This person is wanted by my Heavenly Fiend sect. He is being chased because he stole my Heavenly Fiend sect's treasure. It's best for unrelated people to not meddle in other people's business." The threat in his words was very obvious. Idiot! Everyone looked at Li Di with disdain. The Heavenly Fiend sect might be very powerful, but Heaven Flame City wasn't an ordinary city. The people in the city didn't fear the Heavenly Fiend sect at all. However, listening to Li Di's words, Murong-yu was secretly angry. As a profound sage, Li Di was really too shameless. He actually framed him? He immediately couldn't believe it, and looked at Li Di indifferently. "Li Di, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you." Hearing Murong-yu's words, everyone couldn't help but be surprised. Even Old Man Yi couldn't help but look at Murong-yu with a surprised expression. A great sage challenging a profound sage? Was this courting death? Chapter 1284. For a great sage to challenge a profound sage, if it were an ordinary person, it would naturally be an act of seeking death. However, was Murong-yu an ordinary person? He would definitely not seek death. Like the others, after hearing Murong-yu's words, Li Di was stunned at first, but he quickly reacted. With a sinister grin on his face, he strode toward Murong-yu. "Little bastard, I agree. Immediately leave the city, I accept your challenge." While speaking, Li Di turned around and was about to fly out of Heavenly Fire City. "Wait!" At this time, Murong-yu stopped him in time. "Little bastard, could it be that you want to go back on your word? Not keeping your word?" Li Di's face became gloomy, and he looked at Murong-yu with murderous intent. A cold murderous intent flashed in the depths of Murong-yu's eyes. Li Di's mouth was really too smelly. Anyone who was called little bastard by someone else would be angry. However, Morong Yu did not show his anger. In his heart, Li Di was someone he had to kill. Morong Yu couldn't be bothered to bicker with such a person. Looking at Li Di with a mocking gaze, Morong Yu sneered. Li Di, are you in a hurry to die? I said that I wanted to challenge you, but did I say when I wanted to challenge you? Did I say how I wanted to challenge you? Haha, hearing Morong Yu's words, everyone couldn't help but laugh. Morong Yu indeed did not say these things. He only said that he wanted to challenge Li Di. It could be now, or it could be thousands of eras later. Who knew? Moreover, there were all kinds of conditions. This kid is very crafty. I really thought that he would challenge Li Di, the profound sage, right now. Someone muttered in his heart, but he still looked at Morong Yu with vigilance. They had all seen how crafty Morong Yu was, and began to be wary of him. When do you want to challenge me? Li Di's face was gloomy. He looked at Morong Yu with displeasure. He wanted nothing more than to take down Morong Yu immediately. If you were a trillion eras later, I wouldn't have the time to waste. Morong Yu looked at Li Di and laughed. I know you don't have the time, because you won't live past today. Today, I will challenge you. However, hearing this, the surrounding people were shocked again. All of them looked at Morong Yu with disdain. This guy was simply courting death, and he was in a hurry to seek death. Then why are you still blabbering? Leave the city immediately, Li Di said anxiously. Revenge was one thing, but what he wanted the most was to obtain the cultivation technique that would allow his soul to become a saint. If he obtained it, his strength would soar by leaps and bounds. After that, his status in the heavenly slaughter sect would also rise. It was even possible for him to become the most important disciple of the heavenly slaughter sect. In fact, as his strength continued to grow, he would be able to control the heavenly slaughter sect in the future. At the thought of this, Li Di felt a sense of urgency. As for Li Di's revenge, although the two of them were brothers, in front of the cultivation technique for the soul to become a saint, forget it. Morong Yu remained motionless and looked at Li Di with a mocking expression. I say, even if you are in a hurry to die, can you listen to what I have to say first? Didn't your parents tell you that it is very impolite to interrupt others when they are talking? You really have no upbringing. Li Di's expression became more and more gloomy, and he looked at Morong Yu with an incomparably cold gaze. If you have something to say, just say it. Don't dawdle. Morong Yu sneered. It's true that I want to challenge you, but do you think I will use my first-rank sage realm to challenge you, a profound sage? The prerequisite for the challenge is that you must suppress your strength to the same realm as mine. Or, you can go home and wait for me to challenge you after I reach the profound sage realm. At the same time, while speaking, Morong Yu's gaze swept over everyone's faces, and he raised his voice. I know that you all want to obtain the cultivation technique for the soul to become a saint from me. You can also challenge me, but of course, the premise is that you must be in the same realm as me. If you can defeat me, I will be at your disposal. But what I want to tell you is that I am not a soul sage. So shameless. Hearing Morong Yu's words, everyone who originally thought that Morong Yu was an idiot felt that Morong Yu was shameless. If he really was a soul sage and suppressed his strength to the same realm as him, then the one courting death wouldn't be Morong Yu, but his opponent. As for Morong Yu saying that he wasn't a soul sage, although everyone had some doubts, they didn't believe it. Unless it was confirmed, who would believe it? After all, it was a soul sage. Li Di's complexion suddenly became unsightly, and he stared at Morong Yu with incomparably bitter eyes, not saying anything for a while. He had personally experienced Morong Yu's soul attack. Once his realm was suppressed to that of a sage, he would die without a doubt. Seeing Li Di's smile, Morong Yu's face revealed a brilliant smile. Li Di? Are you afraid? You are a profound sage realm super powerhouse, yet you don't dare to accept my challenge? Li Di looked at Morong Yu with a cold expression, but didn't answer. Even if Morong Yu insulted and ridiculed him, so what? Could it be compared to his life? As long as Morong Yu left Heavenly Flame City, he wouldn't be able to escape. Morong Yu, you also know that I am a profound Sage Realm expert, much stronger than a Sage Realm expert. Even if I suppress my realm, it will still be extremely unfair to you. As for me, I have always advocated fairness. Therefore, I will wait until you are in the same realm as me before accepting your challenge. Whoosh! Everyone's gaze landed on Li Di. Their faces were filled with shock. They were all shocked by Li Di's shamelessness. They all wanted to ask Li Di, how could you be so shameless? How could you be so shameless? How did you do it? Most importantly, Li Di's face didn't even turn red after saying these shameless words. This guy's skin was even thicker than the skin of ordinary vicious beasts. Morong Yu was also shocked, and then he said to Li Di, a good disciple raised by the Heavenly Fiends sect. You are so considerate of me, I am truly grateful to you. However, even a deaf person could hear the ridicule in his words. Li Di just looked at Morong Yu with a cold expression, indifferent. Is there anyone else who wants to accept my challenge or challenge me? If you are in the same realm, I will be happy to accompany you. Of course, I will not accept your challenge unconditionally. The challenger must take out a sacred tool, and the worst must be a middle-grade sacred tool. Morong Yu glanced at everyone and said indifferently. Everyone was silent. Before knowing whether Morong Yu was a soul-sanctified expert, they didn't dare to challenge Morong Yu. Otherwise, they wouldn't even know how they died. Just a saint, yet you are so arrogant. Simply overestimating yourself. Today, I, Duan Tianping, will challenge you. A cold voice sounded. Looking in the direction of the voice, Morong Yu saw a young man with a malicious expression striding over. The light of power on his body was very strong. He was at least a low-level undead realm expert. Duan Tianping. Morong Yu's expression was still calm, but the faces of many people present changed. Although Heavenly Flame City had extremely strict rules, the Duan clan was also a tyrant in Heavenly Flame City. They usually ran amok in Heavenly Flame City and did all kinds of evil. Although they couldn't make a move in Heavenly Flame City, the Duan clan could use all kinds of methods to disturb you and make you unable to live. And if you couldn't help but leave Heavenly Flame City, you would be killed by the Duan clan's experts. There were many clans like the Duan clan in Heavenly Flame City, but the Duan clan was the most powerful one. Together with the other two clans, they were called the Heavenly Flame Three Hegemons by the people of Heavenly Flame City. Ordinary saints would pale when talking about them. Middle-grade sacred tool. Morong Yu looked at Duan Tianping and said indifferently, "You are not my match. What's the use of giving you a middle-grade sacred tool?" Duan Tianping looked at Morong Yu with disdain, his expression incomparably arrogant. In his eyes, Morong Yu was an ant. While speaking, he even glanced disdainfully at Li Di, who was not far away, with great disdain. Li Di was furious in his heart, and killing intent surged. He wasn't a magnanimous person to begin with. If this wasn't Heavenly Flame City, just a glance from Duan Tianping would have made him go berserk and kill. Without a middle-grade sacred tool, where did you come from? Morong Yu said indifferently. Duan Tianping was furious, but in order to verify whether Morong Yu was really a soul sage, he still threw out a middle-grade sacred tool. Morong Yu put away the sacred tool into the Hichu Luoshu world with a smile on his face, and then flew towards the center of the city. Everyone was puzzled. I only accept challenges in Heavenly Flame City. As for outside the city? Outside the city to accept a duel? Morong Yu couldn't help but chuckle. He could imagine that as long as he took a step out of Heavenly Flame City, there would be countless experts who would directly attack him. In the center of Heavenly Flame City, there was an incomparably huge arena. It was left for everyone to settle dispute. Everyone followed. They all wanted to see if Morong Yu was really a soul sage. After the two of them entered the arena, Duan Tianping took the initiative to suppress his realm and was about to attack. Wait, I don't believe you. Just as he was about to attack, Morong Yu stopped him. Then, Morong Yu looked at Old Man Yi in the crowd. Old Man Yi, come and suppress his strength. I'm worried that when he's about to die, he'll remove the seal. That won't be fun. Hearing this, Duan Tianping was so angry that he was about to smoke. Was he that kind of person? Alright, he was that kind of person. However, Morong Yu was a saint. Could he force him to remove the seal? Wasn't this insulting him? Duan Tianping was about to scold him, but when he saw the mysterious Old Man Yi slowly walking up, he immediately shut up. Even if he was from the Duan family, he didn't dare to be disrespectful to the mysterious Old Man Yi. There were many examples of that. Chapter 1285. Old Man Yi first glanced at Morong Yu indifferently, then waved at Duan Tianping. Duan Tianping did not feel anything, but Morong Yu believed that he had sealed Duan Tianping. Then, it was Morong Yu's turn to perform. Kid, although I've suppressed my strength, you're definitely no match for me. I'll let you have 3 moves first. Feeling that he still had the strength of a sage, Duan Tianping shouted at Morong Yu coldly. The arrogance on his face was very strong, and it was obvious that he despised Morong Yu very much. Morong Yu was puzzled. Where did his sense of superiority come from? You're really letting me have 3 moves first? Although he was puzzled, Morong Yu still looked at Duan Tianping and smiled. Looking at Morong Yu's smile, Duan Tianping suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. However, he did not care. He only felt that Morong Yu's smile was very disgusting. Therefore, he said impatiently, "Cut the crap. Just do it when I tell you to." The smile on Morong Yu's face became more and more brilliant. He did not speak, but he slowly raised his right index finger. "1 move, I only need 1 move to defeat you." Whoosh! Everyone's eyes were focused on Morong Yu, and they all sneered as if they were looking at an idiot. How could Morong Yu defeat Duan Tianping in 1 move? Was he stupid? Duan Tianping's lungs were about to explode. However, he did not speak and only looked at Morong Yu coldly. In his heart, he was already thinking about how to torture Morong Yu after 3 moves. It was at this moment that Morong Yu made his move. He took a step forward and disappeared on the spot. At the same time, Duan Tianping's heart was suddenly enveloped by an extremely strong sense of danger. With a thought, his body swayed and he retreated quickly. Although he let Morong Yu have 3 moves, it did not mean that he could not dodge. However, with a bang, Morong Yu directly appeared in front of him. The fist in his hand flickered with a black light as it directly smashed onto Duan Tianping's chest. Suddenly, everyone heard a loud bang, and then they saw Duan Tianping's body explode. Everyone even saw the look of shock on Duan Tianping's face before his body shattered. He shattered Duan Tianping's body with a single punch. Everyone was taken aback. Morong Yu's strength surpassing Duan Tianping's by too much, right? You lost. After shattering Morong Yu's body with a single punch, Morong Yu did not take the opportunity to kill Morong Yu. Instead, he stood on the stage and looked down at Duan Tianping, who had been shattered into thousands of pieces, with a disdainful expression. Duan Tianping was furious. He immediately reformed his physical body and roared, "Bastard, you sneak attacked me!" Ha! Hearing Duan Tianping's words, many people around the arena laughed out loud. Did Morong Yu launch a sneak attack? It was clearly Duan Tianping who told him to attack first. He was defeated, but he said the other party launched a sneak attack? He was on the same level as Li Di. They were both so shameless. Morong Yu did not say anything and just looked at Duan Tianping with a smile. To deal with such a shameless person, it was useless no matter how much words were spoken. He needed to use his fists. He used his huge fists to directly beat the other party until he could not even speak. "You're not admitting defeat?" Morong Yu said indifferently after a long time. "Nonsense, of course I won't admit that you launched a sneak attack. Duan Tianping was flustered and exasperated. Do you want to do it a second time? Morong Yu continued to ask with a smile. Nonsense. Duan Tianping almost roared out loud, gritting his teeth as he looked at Morong Yu. At the same time, he had already raised his strength to the limit. Forget it, you attack first, Morong Yu suddenly said. Swoosh. Before Morong Yu could finish speaking, Duan Tianping had already made his move. It was so fast that the surrounding people did not even have time to react. This bastard is so shameless. This was the evaluation of the surrounding people after they reacted. A cold light flashed across Morong Yu's eyes. After Duan Tianping attacked, he took another step forward. He didn't use any special moves, just a punch straight out of nowhere. Boom! The fists of both sides collided fiercely in the void, bursting out a series of huge muffled sounds. Then, the people around the ring saw Duan Tianping's fist and arm explode inch by inch. On the other hand, Morong Yu's fist continued forward and swiftly landed a punch on Duan Tianping's chest. At this moment Duan Tianping was very hurt, because his physical body was once again destroyed by Morong Yu. Without a doubt, he was no match for Morong Yu. Moreover, Morong Yu did not intend to give him another chance this time. After destroying Duan Tianping's physical body, he reached out his hand and grabbed Duan Tianping's soul in the air. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as Morong Yu grabbed Duan Tianping's soul, a huge divine consciousness tore through the void and landed on him, directly locking onto him. Obviously, these people should be the experts of the Duan family. They were warning Morong Yu not to kill Duan Tianping. In the arena, life and death are up to fate. It's fair and just. If anyone dares to break the principle of fairness, he. When the huge divine consciousness landed on Morong Yu, a faint voice sounded in the ears of these divine consciousness owners. These people's hearts skipped a beat, and the divine consciousness that landed on Morong Yu suddenly retracted. Morong Yu was deeply surprised by this, but even if these divine consciousnesses did not retreat, he would not compromise. You've lost. Morong Yu looked at Duan Tianping's soul in his hand and said, I don't accept this. Duan Tianping roared, and an extremely resentful aura burst out from his soul, attacking Morong Yu. He was truly unconvinced. Although he had suppressed his own realm, how could he not even be able to take a single blow from a saint? What Duan Tianping didn't know was that Morong Yu was actually a great sage. However, Morong Yu didn't use the power of a great sage, not even the power of a sage. He only used the power of his physical body. With the strength of his physical body, he crushed Duan Tianping, who was in the undead realm. It was not that Morong Yu was strong, but Duan Tianping, who didn't have any power, was too weak. In fact, this was the common problem of all ordinary sages. They were strong only because of their power. Without power, they were nothing. After experimenting, Morong Yu found that with his low-grade sacred tool-level physical body, he was already comparable to an ordinary great sage. One could imagine the benefits of a strong physical body. This could also explain why Huang Shi and the others were so greedy for Morong Yu's possible physical body cultivation method. You really don't accept this? Morong Yu's voice became cold. Little bastard, let me go quickly. Otherwise, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. Duan Tianping cursed at Morong Yu. Morong Yu immediately smiled. What I hate the most is being threatened by others, and people who threaten me usually die. Before his voice fell, Morong Yu directly crushed Duan Tianping's soul. The onlookers seemed to hear a kacha shattering sound. Soul devouring. After crushing Duan Tianping's soul, Morong Yu's mind moved, and he swallowed the other party's soul. The soul of an undead realm powerhouse was a great supplement for him. It could improve the soul's strength a little. Ding! After Duan Tianping's soul shattered, his storage ring also burst out and fell to the ground. When everyone thought that Morong Yu did not want this storage ring, they saw that he had already collected the storage ring in his hand. Then he disappeared in a flash. killing Duan Tianping, and even taking Duan Tianping's storage ring. The enmity between Morong Yu and the Duan family was considered to be sowed. Everyone did not know why Morong Yu was so bold. In fact, Morong Yu had already decided to kill when he was challenged. Kill to establish his prestige. He wanted to let these people see that he was not a soft persimmon that could be pinched as they wished. Moreover, even if he did not kill these people, would they let them off? That was impossible. Swish, several figures directly appeared around the ring. Each and every one of them looked at Morong Yu with cold auras. Terrifying killing intent quickly spread out, and the surrounding void temperature dropped rapidly. Very clearly, these were all Duan family's powerhouses. Each of them had a monstrous aura, and they were at least undead realm powerhouses. Do you want to challenge me? Morong Yu looked at those Duan family's powerhouses with a smile on his face, without any fear. I'll do it. A middle-stage undead realm powerhouse shouted angrily and jumped directly into the ring. However, he did not dare to be presumptuous and still suppressed his realm before making a move. Morong Yu looked at Old Man Yi, who was below the stage. The muscles on Old Man Ye's face twitched. Did this guy take him as a coolie? Old Man Yi was unhappy, but he still took action to suppress this Duan family's powerhouse. Middle-grade sacred artifact. The Duan family's powerhouse gritted his teeth and threw a middle-grade sacred artifact to Morong Yu, then rushed out in a flash. One move. Morong Yu shouted in a low voice and took a step forward. After seeing Morong Yu's powerful physical body, how could the Duan family's powerhouse still fight head-on with Morong Yu? Close-quarters combat? Therefore, he wanted to use his strength to kill Morong Yu directly. However, Morong Yu's speed was too fast. The moment he made a move, Morong Yu had already arrived in front of him and then punched out fiercely. The speed was so fast that the other party could not dodge at all. A so-called true undead realm powerhouse would have reacted long ago. However, the strength of a Saint Realm powerhouse did not match his strength. His mind reacted, but his body did not have time to react. Therefore, with a bang, this person's body was directly blown apart by Morong Yu. Then, Morong Yu stretched out his big hand and grabbed the other party's soul in the air. Puff, this person's soul was directly crushed by Morong Yu, and he died an unnatural death. After absorbing this person's soul fragment, Morong Yu said under the murderous gazes of the Duan family's powerhouses, I forgot to tell you that if you want to challenge me, the price is not only a middle-grade sacred artifact, but also your life. As he spoke, Morong Yu was secretly pleased. Now, he hoped that more and more people would challenge him. Because not only could he obtain the challenger's sacred artifacts and other treasures, but he could also obtain their souls. The stronger their strength, the stronger their souls. After Morong Yu devoured them, his soul realm would also be improved greatly. Chapter 1286. Gongsun Ningyu and Wen Yi had not come out of the Skyfire space yet. Before they came out, Morong Yu would not abandon them and leave alone. Gongsun Ningyu's background was desolate, so Morong Yu would definitely not abandon her. Although Wen Yi was not very familiar with him, Wen Yi might know a soul cultivation technique. This technique was extremely important to Morong Yu, so he could not give up on Wen Yi. Since he could not leave Skyfire City for the time being, and these people wanted to get his so-called soul sanctification technique. So why not get some benefits from these people? Sacred tools and various treasures, and after killing them, he could devour their soul fragments to improve his soul level. This was a good thing for Morong Yu. Moreover, Morong Yu did not have any psychological burden at all when killing these people and devouring their souls. After all, which of these people who challenged him did not want to take him down and force him to reveal the soul sanctification technique? Moreover, Morong Yu was not afraid of offending the forces behind these people. Anyway, they would not let him go, so it was not too much to take some interest before they made a move, right? Looking at Morong Yu in the arena, everyone in the arena was stunned. They had been subdued by Morong Yu's viciousness and strength. How is this kid so strong? Could it be that he is not a saint at all? Some people discussed, not believing in Morong Yu's strength at all. It's possible that he is a great saint or an undead realm expert, but disguised as a saint. Otherwise, if he is really a saint, how can he kill an expert of the same realm with a punch? You cheated! An undead realm expert of the Duan clan jumped into the arena and roared at Morong Yu. Hearing his words, Morong Yu could not help but laugh. He cheated? He did not use his full strength at all, okay? You want to challenge me? Morong Yu looked at the other party and smiled faintly. In his eyes, this person was not here to challenge him, but to give him treasures and souls. The Duan clan expert took out a mid-grade sacred tool from his storage ring and looked at Morong Yu with murderous intent, then turned to look at Elder Yi. He bowed respectfully to Elder Yi and said, "Elder Yi, please seal his realm. We need fairness." Elder Yi shook his head. Of course, he could see that Morong Yu did not use any strength at all. But in the end, he did not say anything and just waved his hand at Morong Yu, directly sealing his realm at the Saint Realm. Morong Yu's face still had a faint smile. The sealed realm did not have any restrictions on him. Kill. The instant Morong Yu's cultivation was sealed, the Duan family's undying realm expert roared. Then, the crowd saw the mid-grade sacred tool that he took out earlier burst out with a dazzling holy light, emitting a terrifying aura that could destroy heaven and earth. It turned into a stream of light and fiercely suppressed Morong Yu. At the same time, he quickly punched out, one punch after another to kill Morong Yu. For a moment, the power of the sacred tool and the power of his punches enveloped the entire arena. Even if the arena had a restriction to block these powers, it could not be spread out. However, many of the experts outside the arena still couldn't help but back away. The power of a mid-grade sacred tool was not something that everyone could resist, and this expert of the Duan clan could actually activate the full power of a mid-grade sacred tool. Even if this mid-grade sacred tool was just an ordinary sacred tool, one should know that sacred tools were different from the divine tools in the God realm. The power of a divine tool was actually not that strong. But the power of a sacred tool was extremely heaven-defying. A sacred tool that could unleash its full power generally had the strength of a peak great sage. In fact, some of the better low-grade saint artifacts were even comparable to undead stage powerhouses. When an ordinary mid-grade sacred tool unleashed its full power, it was comparable to a peak undead realm expert. And so on and so forth. In other words, if an ordinary saint could activate the full power of a mid-grade sacred tool, then he would have the strength to fight a peak undead realm expert. Of course, that was only the power of the sacred tool. He himself did not have that strength. Because of this, everyone wanted to get a powerful sacred tool. However, it was extremely difficult to fully activate the true power of a sacred tool. An ordinary saint could not activate a low-grade sacred tool to unleash its full power. But an ordinary saint with a low-grade sacred tool also had the strength of an ordinary great sage. This expert of the Duan clan used some unknown method to actually activate the power of a mid-grade sacred tool to the extreme, having the strength of a peak undead realm expert. When the sacred tool came down, the entire arena seemed to tremble slightly. It was extremely terrifying. The powerful aura even penetrated the arena's restriction and dissipated. It suppressed the souls of some of the weaker people, causing them to tremble. At the same time, they also reacted. Why didn't Duan Tianping and the others use their sacred tools? Wouldn't they be able to easily kill Morong Yu? What a pity! Seeing the power of the sacred tool, the people around the arena could not help but sigh in their hearts and feel pity. Of course, they did not sympathize with Morong Yu. If it were not for Morong Yu's soul sanctification technique, even if he was killed, it would have nothing to do with them. They felt pity that if Morong Yu died, then no one would get his soul sanctification technique. While everyone felt pity, some of the experts who were secretly watching Morong Yu were already ready to make a move. It was impossible for them to let Morong Yu die. At the critical moment they would step in to save him. That way they could make Morong Yu feel grateful to them, and then they could easily get Morong Yu's soul sanctification technique. If it really did not work, they could directly read Morong Yu's memories. However, Morong Yu was destined to disappoint them. Looking at the sacred tool that came down quickly, Morong Yu still had a smile on his face. In the eyes of outsiders, Morong Yu was just reacting before his death. Morong Yu is dead for sure this time. Not necessarily. Isn't he a soul sanctification practitioner? If he uses a soul attack, that expert from the Duan clan might not be able to withstand it, right? Soul sanctification practitioners are very mysterious. Maybe he has some unknown means? While everyone was guessing, with a swoosh, a ray of holy light shot out from Morong Yu's body. Then, it rose with the wind. In the next moment, everyone saw a huge staff standing above Morong Yu's head. Rays of white holy light constantly spread out like water ripples. At this moment, most of the people near the arena, including the expert from the Duan clan who attacked Morong Yu, instantly felt waves of unstoppable waves sweeping toward their souls. It caused their souls to tremble, and they even felt a sense of fear. The expert from the Duan clan in the arena bore the brunt of it. Everyone only felt their souls tremble and fear. However, his soul was already trembling violently. Waves of fear were constantly being emitted from his soul. At this moment, the expert from the Duan clan was enveloped by an extremely terrifying force. Soul shock. At this moment, Morong Yu suddenly roared. Hearing this roar, everyone was shocked. Then, they all looked at Morong Yu with greed in their eyes. However, the expert from the Duan clan in the arena had a look of fear on his face. Swoosh. At the same time when Morong Yu launched his soul attack, some of the experts who were watching him in the dark finally lost their composure. They suddenly stood up from their chairs and looked at Morong Yu with burning eyes that pierced through the endless space and time. Some of the experts even had energy fluctuations and were about to attack. However, for some unknown reason, they did not immediately attack. Perhaps they wanted to verify if Morong Yu was really using a soul attack. This was because before Morong Yu roared, the terrifying soul flame of chaos had already rushed into his spiritual space. Immediately, he wanted to use his saint power to resist or even destroy the soul flame of chaos. However, he could only use the power of a saint. How could he resist Morong Yu's soul flame of chaos? Like blowing dry leaves, the Duan clan expert's energy that filled the entire spiritual space was directly crushed. Then, Morong Yu's soul flame of chaos drove straight in and directly bombarded his soul. How could an ordinary soul resist Morong Yu's one-star soul attack? As soon as they came into contact, the Duan clan expert's soul had already been crushed into millions of pieces. However, it was not annihilated. This was because Morong Yu needed his soul. Thud! Thud! The sound of two heavy objects falling to the ground could be heard. After his soul was crushed, the Duan clan's undead realm expert immediately died and fell to the ground with a dull thud. The other dull thud was the middle-grade sacred weapon that had lost the control of the Duan clan expert was slapped into the arena by Morong Yu. The sound was not very loud, but in the ears of the crowd, it was like two thunderclaps, shaking them until they were a little dizzy. It was really a soul saint. Was this a soul attack? How terrifying! The Duan clan expert was at the peak of the undead realm, but he was killed before he could even touch the corner of Morong Yu's clothes. Everyone stared blankly at Morong Yu in the arena, their hearts filled with shock. Then, they saw a rod floating above Morong Yu's head. It was actually the dragon bone flaming needle. Sigh, I didn't want to reveal my trump card so early. But who asked you to be so powerful? Morong Yu shook his head and said helplessly as he collected the Duan clan expert's storage ring and the middle-grade sacred weapon. A soul attack sacred weapon. Is it only a soul attack sacred weapon? Didn't they say that Morong Yu was a soul saint himself? Everyone was puzzled and began to discuss. Morong Yu had already collected the treasure, storage ring, and even absorbed the Duan clan experts' soul fragments. Of course, it was not just the power of the Dragon Bone Flaming Needle. His soul power was attached to the Dragon Bone Flaming Needle. Otherwise, the Dragon Bone Flaming Needle would not have been able to kill the Duan clan expert instantly. Is there anyone else who wants to challenge me? Morong Yu stood in the arena with a smile, and his gaze slowly swept across the faces of the crowd. Finally, his gaze landed on the ashen-faced Li Chong, who was not far away from the arena. Chapter 1287. In the crowd, Li Chong glared at Morong Yu with a venomous look. His face was livid. Even now, he wasn't sure if Morong Yu's soul had really become a saint. After all, he had witnessed how Morong Yu's soul killed the expert from the Duan clan. Was it really because of the soul sacred weapon, or Morong Yu's own strength? Li Chong wasn't sure, and neither were the people around him. Even the experts hiding in the dark were the same. Only Old Man Yi had a smile on his face. No one knew what he was thinking. Li Chong, I've killed 2 of your brothers. Don't you want to take revenge? Now I'm giving you a chance to take revenge. If you can kill me in the arena, not only can you take revenge, but you can also get all the treasures on me. Morong Yu suddenly laughed as he looked at Li Chong. Li Chong's face changed drastically. He looked coldly at Morong Yu but didn't say anything. If he didn't suppress his realm, he would be the first to rush up. But now, didn't he see that a few undead realm experts had been killed by Morong Yu? Therefore, although Li Chong wanted to kill Morong Yu with one punch, he remained silent. Whoosh! Everyone's eyes were on Li Chong, but there was no disdain or contempt in their eyes. There was only sympathy. Yes, sympathy. Because they all knew how terrifying Morong Yu was. Once he went up to the arena, he would be courting death. Sky Flame City is full of experts. Is there no one who dares to challenge me? Standing in the arena, Morong Yu looked down at the world in high spirit. But there was a feeling of loneliness as an expert. Silence. Everyone was silent. Morong Yu asked several times, but no one challenged him. He couldn't help but feel dispirited. Seeing Morong Yu being so arrogant, many experts in Sky Flame City couldn't help but want to teach him a lesson. But they were afraid of Morong Yu's soul attack, so no one dared to step forward. Even the experts hiding in the dark were the same. They were afraid that they would fail miserably. After all, if an imperishable realm or profound sage realm expert was defeated or even killed by Morong Yu in the arena, it would be a huge loss. Thus, Morong Yu's unparalleled reputation was established. However, they were thrown into the endless abyss. Even if they died, they would be laughed at by others. There are so many experts in Heavenly Flame City, but no one dares to challenge me. I'm really disappointed. Morong Yu shook his head and took a step forward. His figure disappeared from the arena in a flash. Morong Yu's plan to collect the treasures and soul fragments had failed, and Gongsun Ningyu and Gongsun Ningyu had yet to come out, so he could only return to his room. However, after he returned, his house was surrounded by countless people again. Some of these people were sent by the major forces to monitor him, while others were purely curious. Although Soul Saint artifacts are powerful, they are difficult to control. Sometimes they can't even be controlled. If one day the Soul Saint artifact suddenly erupts and injures everyone, then I'm really sorry. Morong Yu's voice slowly spread out from the courtyard. At the same time, the Dragonbone Flame Needle rapidly enlarged and floated in the air above the courtyard, emitting an aura that made people's souls feel oppressed and terrified. Whoosh! Almost at the same time, the people surrounding the courtyard all retreated, their expressions changing as they looked at the Dragonbone Flame Needle. They didn't believe that Morong Yu really couldn't control the Dragonbone Flame Needle. He had clearly said that to warn and threaten them. Moreover, because he had made it clear beforehand, if one day he really couldn't control it, then they would have died in vain. After all, this was a manslaughter. Even Heavenly Flame City couldn't care so much. After summoning the Hichu Luoshu, Morong-yu returned to his room and entered the Hichu Luoshu. Hichu, why didn't you appear in the Heavenly Flame space? At this time, Morong-yu suddenly remembered. When he met Tianmeng, he had asked Hichu about it. However, Hichu seemed to have disappeared into thin air. There was no movement at all. Tianmeng was indeed saved by Zhao Yun. However, they had only met once. Furthermore, he doesn't know of my existence. As for whether what he said is true, I don't know. Hichu said indifferently. If what Tianmeng said wasn't true, and there was some sort of conspiracy, Hichu naturally wouldn't appear, lest this trump card of his be exposed. As the saying goes, one shouldn't have the heart to harm others, but one should have the heart to guard against others. Then what should I do? Morong-yu frowned slightly. At that time, he didn't completely trust Tianmeng, but he didn't want to break his promise. What you promised, you just have to do. Moreover, if you want to avenge Zhao Yun, you can use him. I only just found out about the few people who did it. It seems like those who killed Zhao Yun are not as simple as those few people. Hichu said in a deep voice. His killing intent was overflowing. That's true. I don't know where the other parts of Tianmeng's body are suppressed. Perhaps by the time I find all of them, my strength will have surpassed his. At that time, in front of absolute strength, all schemes and tricks will be useless. I can destroy them with a punch. Morong-yu smiled and didn't dwell on this matter. Then, he picked up the heavenly flame pearl given to him by the Heaven Alliance. Although there wasn't a huge energy fluctuation, the intense energy light was not fake. It was similar to the Supreme Saint Weapon Astral Wine Secret Light Bell that seemed to have been destroyed. Say no more. I can't smelt this heavenly flame pearl now, right? Morong-yu sensed that Hichu was about to speak, so he spoke first. He couldn't smelt the Astral Wind Secret Light Bell now. Otherwise, he would explode and be completely killed. The power of the Heavenly Flame Pearl was similar to the Astral Wind Secret Light Bell. Of course, he couldn't smelt it either. Don't smelt this Heavenly Flame Pearl. It might be useful in the future, Hichu said in a low voice. What was its use? Morong-yu asked him a few times, but he didn't answer him. After putting away the Heavenly Flame Pearl, Morong-yu took out the storage rings that he had won or obtained from Duan Tianping and the others. He poured out everything in the storage rings. Upper Saint Weapon. When he saw a battle saber, Morong-yu's eyes flashed. The storage rings of the other two experts from the Duan clan were still fine. They didn't have anything like before. Presumably, their status in the Duan clan was different. However, Duan Tianping had an upper saint weapon. If the full power of a saint weapon was activated, it would be equivalent to an Eternal Realm expert. In White Sun City, upper saint weapons were extremely rare. Even the Yuan clan, Zhou clan, and the other clans might not have an upper saint weapon. As for the Li clan, with Li Di around, they might have one. What's Duan Tianping's status in the Duan clan? He actually has an upper saint weapon. Morong-yu thought to himself. His big hand had already grabbed the battle saber. If I smelt this upper saint weapon and the other saint weapons and treasures of heaven and earth, it should be able to raise my cultivation level by a small level, right? Morong-yu's big hand grabbed at the air and grabbed all the treasures that contained a large amount of power in the storage rings. Then, dozens of different things floated in front of him. There were saint weapons, treasures of heaven and earth. Swoosh! Morong-yu suddenly opened his mouth and sucked hard. Suddenly, those saint weapons and treasures of heaven and earth turned into a stream of light and were sucked into his mouth. Then, they all entered the chaos furnace. Smelt. Morong-yu's thoughts moved. Then, he saw the chaos furnace shake slightly. Suddenly, those saint weapons and treasures of heaven and earth disappeared. However, the battle saber that was an upper saint weapon had not been smelted completely. Morong-yu rolled his eyes. He finally understood why Hichu did not let him smelt the astral secret light bell. Other than the fact that the astral secret light bell contained an extremely large amount of power, he could not smelt it. Although the chaos furnace was said to be able to smelt everything, there was a prerequisite. That was, Murong Yu must have the corresponding strength. With Murong Yu's current strength, he could easily smelt a middle saint weapon. However, it was a little difficult to smelt an upper saint weapon, but it was not impossible. Smelt. Murong Yu controlled the chaos furnace to continue smelting the upper saint weapon battle saber. On the other side, the treasures of heaven and earth and saint weapons that he had already smelted had turned into power that directly entered his body and began to raise his cultivation level rapidly. Murong Yu's cultivation level began to rise rapidly. However, those dozens of saint weapons could not help him break through his cultivation level. He was originally a first-step great saint, but after absorbing all the power of those treasures, his cultivation level only rose to the intermediate first-step great saint. Murong Yu was a little depressed. If it were someone else, after refining so much power, their cultivation level would have risen by several small realms. However, he was different from ordinary people. Hopefully, I can raise my cultivation level after smelting this battle saber. Murong Yu thought to himself and began to smelt the battle saber quickly. Under his efforts, the battle saber began to be smelted slowly. Although the process was slow, it was still smelting after all. Murong Yu's cultivation level began to rise again. Time was like sand, slipping through one's fingers unconsciously. In a flash, several days had passed. The battle saber had not been completely smelted, but Murong Yu's cultivation level had already risen to the peak first step great saint. He was only one step away from breaking through to the second step great saint. One had to admit that the power contained in this upper saint weapon was much greater than the dozens of saint weapons and treasures of heaven and earth. Hong Long, several days later, Murong Yu's body shook violently, and a dull thunderous sound came from his body. At the same time, an aura 10 times stronger than before swept out, and the void around Murong Yu trembled. Second step great saint. Murong Yu had finally broken through. However, after the breakthrough, the upper saint weapon had not been completely smelted. However, the smelting speed had obviously increased by a lot. Originally, it would have taken a few more days to smelt, but now it only took a few hours to complete the smelting. However, the purified power could only stabilize Murong Yu's cultivation level, and there was no improvement. At the same time, Murong Yu suddenly sensed that someone had broken into the courtyard. A cold, murderous intent flashed in the depths of Murong Yu's eyes, and his figure flashed and appeared in the room. Then he strode out. Chapter 1288. When Murong Yu arrived at the courtyard, he saw a young man striding in. Immediately, he frowned and his face darkened. In Skyfire City, it was forbidden to enter someone else's house without permission. You could even be killed on the spot. With a thought from Murong Yu, the dragon bone flaming needle floating in the air above the courtyard began to tremble. Waves of soul-attacking, soul-suppressing aura burst out from the needle. As long as Murong Yu was willing, the dragon bone flaming needle would attack. However, he soon realized that something was wrong. The young man in the courtyard did not emit any soul fluctuations. Upon closer inspection, he realized that the young man was formed by a condensed energy. It did not contain much energy, not even quasi-saint's energy. In other words, the young man did not have any attack power. He was just a condensed body. Murong Yu. Seeing Murong Yu appear, the young man's eyes lit up and he was about to speak. However, he was rudely interrupted by Murong Yu. Do you know that you're trespassing? Even if you're just an illusion, if I pursue the matter, your real body will be killed. Murong Yu said in a deep voice, his voice filled with killing intent. The young man was already unhappy that he had been interrupted. When he heard Murong Yu's words, he became even more unhappy. His face darkened as he looked at Morong Yu and sneered, "Morong Yu, I'm here on official business. I'm a member of the Duan family. The Duan family seems to have something that you're interested in." Morong Yu frowned and said impatiently, "Not interested." The young man laughed. "Are you really not interested? Let me think, what's it called? Ning Yu and Wen? My memory isn't that good." Whoosh! When Morong Yu heard the words Ning Yu and Wen, his expression abruptly changed. Then, his body flashed and he disappeared. When he reappeared, he was beside the young man. His large hand reached out and grabbed the young man's neck, lifting him up. "What did you say?" Endless killing intent spread out from Morong Yu's body. It was terrifying. The young man sneered, "The Duan family awaits your arrival." Without waiting for Morong Yu to speak, the young man exploded. It was just a ball of energy with a strand of divine sense attached to it. It did not have any effect even if it exploded. Bastard! Morong Yu gritted his teeth. These families were each more shameless than the other. Clearly, they had captured Gongsun Ningyu and Wen. In fact, they had captured them in the heavenly fire space. Morong Yu had left a trace of his divine sense in the vicinity of the transportation array to keep an eye on it. However, he didn't discover Gongsun Ningyu's appearance. Should I go or not? Morong Yu was a bit. If he entered the Duan family, even if they were in Heavenly Fire City, they could definitely deal with Morong Yu without any scruples. They could force him to reveal the so-called soul sanctification technique or capture him and read his memories. However, if he did not go, Gongsun Ningyu and Wen would be detained again. Strength. He was still not strong enough. If he was strong enough, how would these people dare to touch the people around him? After thinking for a while, Morong Yu strode out of the courtyard and walked straight to the Duan family. During this process, countless people noticed Morong Yu. They did not know what was going on and just followed Morong Yu. Not long after, Morong Yu arrived at the Duan family's gate. As if he had been taken care of, the Duan family's guards hurriedly let Morong Yu in after seeing him. He entered the Duan family? Morong Yu entered the Duan family himself? What's going on? Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. Didn't Morong Yu just kill Duan Tianping and the others? Why did he go in as if nothing had happened? Everyone was in disbelief. Could it be that the Duan family caught Morong Yu's two friends? Yes, it must be like that. No wonder so many people from the Duan family entered the heavenly fire space a few days ago. I thought some treasure had appeared inside. After a while, a saint revealed the secret. Everyone came to a realization and then cursed the Duan family for being shameless. However, they soon began to regret it. Why didn't they capture Morong Yu's two friends? That way, Morong Yu would have surrendered. Now? It was too late. Ever since Morong Yu entered the Duan family's gate, they knew that Morong Yu might never come out. If the Duan family really obtained the soul sanctification technique, then they could control Heavenly Fire City and even become a top family in the Nine Holy Kingdom or even the human race. They definitely couldn't let the Duan family monopolize this benefit. After receiving the report, some of the super experts in Heavenly Fire City immediately became excited. Morong Yu, the family head, has been waiting in the main hall for a long time. Come with me. After Morong Yu entered the Duan family's gate, a saint dressed as a guard came up to welcome him. With an indifferent expression, he threw a sentence at Morong Yu and then turned to leave. It was extremely rude. Morong Yu was furious in his heart. How could he let a Saint Realm guard welcome him? This wasn't a welcome, but a show of strength and a show of superiority. They were telling Morong Yu that in front of the Duan family, he was just an ordinary guard. An ant-like existence dared to challenge them? In fact, Morong Yu felt that if it wasn't for the Duan family coveting him, there wouldn't even be anyone to welcome him. As long as Morong Yu barged into the Duan family's residence, the Duan family would immediately have an excuse to kill him on the spot. However, the situation was unclear now, so Murong Yu didn't immediately flare up. After following the guard around, Murong Yu finally arrived in front of a luxurious hall. Before he could see the situation inside the hall, he felt an incomparably powerful aura constantly spreading out from the hall like ripples. Murong Yu narrowed his eyes slightly. He knew that many of the Duan family's experts must have gathered in the hall. These people were going to interrogate him. Murong Yu narrowed his eyes and sneered in his heart. It's best if all the Duan family's experts are in the hall. That way, he can catch them all in one fell swoop. Yes, catch them all in one fell swoop. Ever since they found out that the Duan family had taken down Gongsun Ningyu and her husband, Murong Yu had already been sentenced to death by the Duan family. With a sneer, Murong Yu stepped in. Whoosh! The moment he entered, dozens of gazes immediately landed on him. It was so much so that waves of aura surged forth like a torrential flood, directly suppressing Murong Yu. Kacha-kacha, bursts of crackling sounds constantly came from Murong Yu's body. This was because his physical body was enduring too much pressure. If his physical body hadn't reached the level of a low-grade sacred artifact, he would have exploded the moment he entered the hall. However, even so, Murong Yu's physical body had reached its limit. His physical body shook violently and could shatter at any time. At this moment, the terrifying power was like a sacred mountain pressing down on Murong Yu's head, suppressing him so much that he couldn't move. With a crack, the bluestone floor under Murong Yu's feet shattered. Murong Yu's feet began to sink into the ground. Suddenly, an angry roar came. You actually didn't kneel in front of the Duan family's patriarch. Kneel for me. The power Murong Yu was enduring suddenly increased by 100 times. Puff! Murong Yu's whole body was pressed deep into the ground, leaving only his waist on the ground. The terrifying pressure was constantly pressing down on him, wanting him to kneel. Murong Yu looked at the dozens of so-called powerhouses of the Duan family indifferently. Although the muscles on his face were twitching from the pressure, he was still ridiculing them. You want me to kneel? Even if I die, that's impossible. In this life, I will kneel to the heavens, kneel to the earth, and kneel to my parents. Murong Yu's parents were dead, so he didn't have the opportunity to kneel to them. As for the heavens and the earth, he had never knelt to them before. Murong Yu's gaze swept down. Although he was ridiculing them, he also had a look of disdain. He originally thought that the Duan family was a powerful family. However, the strongest among them was only at the undead stage. They didn't even have a profound sage stage powerhouse. Of course, it was said that there was a profound sage stage ancestor behind the Duan family. However, that ancestor was in seclusion all year round and wouldn't appear unless the family was in a life-and-death situation. However, on the surface, their strength was much stronger than the families of White Sun City. After all, those families didn't even have an undead stage powerhouse. The enormous pressure continued to engulf Murong Yu like a tidal wave, causing him to sink deeper into the ground. Murong Yu's body was almost on the verge of collapse. However, he still wouldn't give in. Enough. At this moment, the patriarch of the Duan family, Duan Hongfei, coldly snorted. Immediately after, the power suppressing Murong Yu's body rapidly dissipated. Murong Yu stood up from the ground and looked at Duan Hongfei indifferently. He naturally didn't think that Duan Hongfei would suddenly let him go out of kindness, but because he still had something they needed, it wasn't good to kill Murong Yu. As for why they didn't directly take down Murong Yu and read his memories, they didn't dare. Because many people had seals and restrictions on their memories. If they were forcibly read by an external force, those memories would be destroyed, and the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. Not seeing Gongsun Ningyu and Duan Hongfei in the hall, Murong Yu suppressed the anger in his heart and coldly asked, "Where are my 2 friends? Don't worry, your 2 friends are fine. Of course, as for whether they will be fine in the future, it depends on what you do," Duan Hongfei said with a smile. However, that smile was as cold as it was gloomy. If Murong Yu believed his smile, he would have been fooled. Chapter 1289. You want the Dragon Bone Flame Needle? Although it's a soul attack saint artifact, if you want it, just say the word. If you can pay a price that moves my heart, it's not impossible for me to give you the Dragon Bone Flame Needle. However, as a big family, you captured my friends to threaten me. Don't you think this is despicable and shameless? Murong Yu sneered as he stared at Duan Hongfei. The Duan family's expert sneered, telling them he was shameless? In the holy world where strength was respected and the strong preyed on the weak, shamelessness was also a method. Cut the crap, hand over the soul sanctification technique, and we'll let your two friends go. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. A high-level undead realm expert looked at Murong Yu indifferently and said coldly. Since both sides had already shed all pretense of cordiality, there was no need to beat around the bush. They just went straight to the point. So you want the soul sanctification technique? Why didn't you say so earlier? Why did you capture my two friends? Why don't you just say it? Don't you know that I don't have any technique or cultivation method? Murong Yu pretended to be enlightened and then looked at everyone as if they were idiots. His face was full of ridicule. The Duan family's expression became colder and colder. A mid-level undead realm expert should be an elder of the Duan family. He looked at Duan Hongfei sinisterly and said, "Family head, I think this little bastard is unwilling to cooperate. In that case, there's no need for us to capture his two friends. Just kill them." The Duan family's experts nodded and agreed with the elder's suggestion. A cold killing intent flashed in the depths of Murong Yu's eyes. With the Duan family's shamelessness and despicableness, killing Gongsun Ningyu and the others was definitely not a joke. He was here to save people, not to kill Gongsun Ningyu and Duan Hongfei. However, it was impossible for him to submit like this. "Wait, I need to see my two friends," Murong Yu suddenly shouted. "You want to exchange?" The Duan family's experts were secretly delighted. "I want to see my two friends. If I don't see you within 10 breaths, I will immediately destroy my memory." Murong Yu's face turned cold and murderous. "Wait!" Duan Hongfei waved his hand and signaled one of the elders with his eyes. Then, the elder hurriedly left the hall. They were really afraid that Murong Yu would destroy his memories. Once that happened, even if they killed Murong Yu, it would be useless. At this moment, Murong Yu leisurely walked to the seat of the Duan family's elder and sat down. Bastard! Everyone from the Duan clan was enraged. Each and every one of them glared at him, but no one made a move. Now was not the time to make a move. Once he obtained the soul sanctification technique, Murong Yu would have to die. Bear with it! Everyone from the Duan clan gritted their teeth, feeling extremely displeased. The Duan clan was extremely fast. As soon as Murong Yu sat down, the elder who left the hall returned. He returned with 2 cages. These were 2 cages as tall as a person. It was unknown what kind of sacred material was used to make these cages. Looking from afar, one could see a series of mysterious lines constantly flashing. A series of obscure and powerful auras were constantly emitted. Inside the cages were Gongsun Ningyu and Wen Yi. The 2 of them were locked up in a cage like animals, although it seemed that the 2 of them did not suffer any harm. Still, the anger in Murong Yu's heart continued to rise. The 2 of them were humans, not lowly beasts. Locking them up like this was not just imprisoning them, but insulting them. They were insulting them in terms of their character. Murong Yu suddenly jumped up from his chair. The anger and killing intent on his body could not be suppressed. It instantly filled the entire hall. "Let them go!" 2 low and deep voices containing terrifying killing intent roared out from his throat. Murong Yu took a step forward and arrived in front of the 2 cages. At the same time, he threw a punch at the Duan clan's elder who was in the undead realm. Presumptuous! A high-level undead realm expert flew into a rage. He took a step forward and blocked in front of Murong Yu. At the same time, he also threw a punch. Boom! Murong Yu's fist was directly shattered. The incomparably violent power directly sent him flying. Fortunately, they didn't want to take Murong Yu's life yet. Otherwise, this punch would have killed Murong Yu. With a thought, the shattered arm grew out once more. Murong Yu stood in place, looking at the two undead realm experts with red eyes. The killing intent on his body became even stronger. Big brother Murong, we are fine. Don't worry. Gongsun Ningyu said somewhat timidly. Although she said she was fine, after hearing her voice, Murong Yu's killing intent soared several times and rushed to the ninth heaven. I said let them go. Murong Yu was furious, but he no longer made a move. He just turned and looked coldly at the Duan clan's patriarch, Duan Hongfei. Duan Hongfei looked at Murong Yu with a smile on his face. It's not difficult to let them go, but you must use the soul sanctification technique in exchange. Otherwise, at this point, Duan Hongfei looked at Gongsun Ningyu and Wen En continued, I will give you 10 breaths of time. After 10 breaths, if I don't get the soul sanctification technique, then I will kill this woman with my own hands. Kacha, Murong Yu's teeth were crushed because of his anger. At this time, an elder of the Duan clan had already begun to count down. 10, 9. Let them go, let us go, and I guarantee that your Duan clan will be fine. Otherwise, I will make you regret it. Murong Yu gritted his teeth and looked at Duan Hongfei and the others with a slightly ferocious expression. However, the many experts of the Duan clan couldn't help but laugh. Even if Murong Yu was a soul sanctification expert, how could he make the Duan clan regret it alone? Your Duan clan is too despicable and shameless. You actually used such means to threaten? At this moment, a voice sounded. Then, a figure appeared at the entrance of the hall. Duan Hongfei's expression changed slightly, then he shouted coldly, Meng Zhanping, what are you doing here? Murong Yu turned his head and looked over. Then, his pupils suddenly shrank. The person who came was a middle-aged man. His body flickered with a powerful light. He was an imperishable realm expert. What Murong Yu didn't know was that Meng Zhanping was the patriarch of the Meng clan, one of the 3 great clans of Sky Fire City. Old man Meng is here too? I'm also here to join in the fun. Before Meng Zhanping could speak, a loud voice sounded. In the next moment, an imperishable realm elder appeared in Murong Yu's sight. 3 imperishable realm experts. Murong Yu's eyes narrowed as his heart grew heavier and heavier. Ji Rueda, the patriarch of the Ji clan, one of the 3 great clans of Sky Fire City. Duan Hongfei stood up with a gloomy expression. He looked at Ji Rueda and Meng Zhanping and said, the 2 of you, this is an important place of the Duan clan. Outsiders are not allowed to come here. I don't think I invited the 2 of you. Haha. Ji Rueda laughed and then continued, it's fine. I heard that Murong Yu entered the Duan clan. With your Duan clan's methods, aren't you afraid that Murong Yu will be forced by you? That's why I came to take a look. That's right. You can continue. Don't worry about us. We'll just watch from the side, Meng Zhanping said with a smile. However, while talking, the 2 of them kept sizing up Murong Yu. Murong Yu sneered in his heart. Although it was the first time he saw these 2, Murong Yu was very familiar with their divine wills. They were secretly spying on him before. Duan Hongfei was furious. These 2 guys weren't good people either, just like him. Why did they say that now? Moreover, with the 2 of them here, how could he continue? They didn't want to share the soul sanctification technique with the 2 of them. It was better to control these things in their own hand. Looks like Murong Yu won't give in. I like this kind of young man. He'd rather die than give in. Ji Rueda looked at Murong Yu with admiration. Meng Zhanping frowned slightly. But your strength is mediocre. How can you be on the same side as the Duan clan? How about this? If you join the Meng clan, I can guarantee that the 3 of you will be ignored. Bullshit. How can the Meng clan compare to the Ji clan? Murong Yu, if you join the Ji clan, I'll make you our #1 venerate. You can have anything you want. Ji Rueda said loudly. Duan Hongfei and the others' expressions became gloomier. These two guys were purely here to cause trouble. However, they were also worried that if Murong Yu joined their clan, they would have to fight with them. This was something they had been trying to avoid. Put away your fake faces. You're all here for the soul sanctification technique. Don't insult my intelligence, okay? I'll tell you clearly that I don't have the soul sanctification technique, and I'm not a soul sanctification cultivator. Murong Yu sneered. He didn't want to compromise with anyone because he had enough cards up his sleeve. If they pushed him too far, they would all die. Meng Zhanping and Ji Rueda glanced at each other, then with a swish, they attacked. Murong Yu didn't even have time to react before he was restrained by two imperishable stage powerhouses. With his strength, he really wasn't a match for imperishable stage powerhouses. Even if he had reacted, he wouldn't have resisted. We have plenty of ways to deal with uncooperative people. Duan Hongfei, weren't you afraid that he would destroy his memories? That's why you didn't do anything to him. I can tell you that some time ago, Old Ghost Meng and I obtained a remnant of a formation that can suppress any memory seal. Murong Yu's heart abruptly sank. Not to mention the fact that there was no remnant array, as long as they wanted to read his memories, he would be exposed. His memories weren't sealed in any way. As they spoke, the two were about to leave the hall. However, Duan Hongfei was anxious and hurriedly stopped them. What do you mean by this? Are you looking down on the Duan clan? Chapter 1290. Hearing Duan Hongfei's words, Meng Zhanping and Ji Rueda laughed. Ji Rueda said, "We don't put your Duan clan in our eyes. However, we have a way to pry open his memories. Do you?" Duan Hongfei was stunned. He really didn't have such a method. If he did, he wouldn't need to use Gongsun Ningyu to threaten Murong Yu. However, Murong Yu was already in their hands. It was impossible for Meng Zhanping and Ji Rueda to take it away from him. At the very least, their Duan clan had to share Murong Yu's memories. Seeing Duan Hongfei's increasingly gloomy expression, Meng Zhanping finally spoke. How about this? Our three clans will share Murong Yu's memories. Together, our souls will reach Sage. In fact, none of them wanted anyone else to obtain the Sage Soul technique. They all wanted to monopolize it. However, the incomplete array was in the hands of Meng Zhanping and Ji Rueda. If they didn't cooperate, they wouldn't be able to read Murong Yu's memories. Therefore, they could only cooperate. Of course, it wasn't that they didn't think of taking the array from the other party. However, that would inevitably lead to a war between the two clans. At that time, the two of them wouldn't be able to bear the losses. The reason why they agreed to let Duan Hongfei have a share was because of this. Otherwise, if the Duan clan went crazy, one of them would definitely die. Even if they didn't die, they would be seriously injured. This was something they didn't want to see. All right. Duan Hongfei agreed without any hesitation. What a joke. If he didn't agree, Murong Yu's memories would have nothing to do with him. Seeing Duan Hongfei and the other two quarreling over him and fighting for ownership, Murong Yu, who had been silent all this time, sneered. Murong Yu was extremely angry, but at the same time, he maintained his calm. In his eyes, the actions of Duan Hongfei and the other two were extremely laughable. Hearing Murong Yu's sneer, Duan Hongfei and the other two looked over. Little bastard, after we read your memories, you don't need to continue to exist in this world. When the time comes, I'll let you know the consequences of offending the Duan clan. Duan Hongfei sneered, his tone sinister and murderous. Because Duan Tianping, whom Murong Yu had killed, was his own son. If it wasn't for the fact that he wanted to obtain the soul sanctification technique, he would have already killed Murong Yu. Do you guys really think that I'm a fish on the chopping block? Murong Yu laughed. Although all of his strength had been suppressed, he was not afraid at all. His face was full of ridicule. Hearing this, Meng Zhanping and the other two looked at Murong Yu with an amused expression. They didn't think that Morong Yu had the ability to break free from his seal. Let us go immediately and give us satisfactory compensation. Otherwise, all of you will die. Morong Yu suddenly shouted. Ha ha ha! Everyone from the Duan clan burst into laughter, thinking that Morong Yu was being ridiculous. Laugh, laugh, I'll make it so that you won't even be able to cry. Morong Yu sneered in his heart. Duan Hong Fei and the other two imperishable stage powerhouses looked at each other, a faint trace of unease flashing through their hearts. For Morong Yu to be so calm, he must have some kind of trump card. Cut the crap, let's refine his memories first, Ji Rueda shouted coldly and stretched out his hand, about to grab Morong Yu. However, at this moment, something strange happened. Boom! An extremely terrifying aura suddenly burst out from Morong Yu's body. The moment the terrifying aura appeared, it crushed the power that Meng Zhanping and the other two had used to seal Morong Yu into powder. Morong Yu instantly regained his freedom. At the same time, the terrifying power grew stronger and stronger, surpassing the imperishable stage in one fell swoop. Then, while Duan Hong Fei and the others were shocked, the aura crazily rose. Profound sage, ancient sage, holy king. Of course, the people present did not know the specific realm of these auras. They only knew that the auras were growing stronger and more terrifying. Bang! 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 Finally, when the aura in Morong Yu's body rose crazily, the hall they were in was the first to be unable to withstand it and was directly shaken into powder. Then, some of the relatively weaker big shots of the Duan family were blasted into a bloody mist, unable to be more dead. At the same time, the terrifying aura swept out in all directions with Morong Yu's body as the center, turning everything in its path into powder. Duan Hong Fei and the other two were the closest to Morong Yu, so they bore the brunt of it. However, they were still imperishable stage powerhouses, so they were able to resist this aura attack. Ji Rueda's expression suddenly changed, and he shouted, "Take him down!" At the same time, his large hand quickly grabbed at Morong Yu. At the same time, Duan Hong Fei's figure flashed and shot straight towards Gongsun, Ning Yu and Wen Yi, wanting to take them down to threaten Morong Yu. The patriarch of the Duan family, an imperishable stage powerhouse, was actually so shameless. Morong Yu, who was already furious, became even more furious at this time. "All of you must die," Morong Yu shouted. At the same time, Duan Hong Fei and the others saw a finger shoot out from Morong Yu's body. Boom! The moment the severed finger appeared, the void around Morong Yu was shattered by the terrifying power that erupted from the severed finger. Large areas of the void began to collapse, and the speed of the collapse was rapidly spreading into the distance. With a bang, Ji Rueda's big hand, which bore the brunt of the impact, was directly shaken into powder. Then, the incomparably terrifying power ruthlessly bombarded Ji Rueda's body. Ji Rueda spat out blood, and his entire body was blasted away like a broken rag doll. However, he was not immediately killed. This was because he had already summoned many saint weapons in his body when he saw the severed finger. However, although he did not die, many of his saint weapons were directly crushed. Some of the saint weapons were even connected to his mind. After being crushed, his mind also suffered great damage. Run! Without any hesitation, Ji Rueda's body swayed as he was sent flying, and he directly fled into the distance. The severed finger's power was too terrifying, and he instinctively felt that he was not a match for it. Therefore, he could only flee. Before Ji Rueda, Meng Zhanping was one step faster and had already fled far away. Only Duan Hong Fei was still pouncing toward Gongsun, Ning Yu and Duan Hong Fei. He also wanted to flee, but he could not. This was because this was the Duan family. Once he fled, the Duan family would be razed to the ground by Morong Yu. Therefore, he had to control Gongsun, Ning Yu and Duan Hong Fei to threaten Morong Yu. This was the only way to save him and the Duan family. However, he did not expect that his foolish actions would lead to his death. Murong Yu stretched out his big hand and grabbed the air. Instantly, the severed finger was caught in his hand. Die! Murong Yu roared. Holding the broken finger in his hand, he ferociously struck at Duan Hongfei. At this moment, Duan Hongfei had already appeared in front of the iron cage that held Gongsun Ningyu. He grinned maliciously and stretched out his hand to grab the iron cage. In his mind, as long as he grabbed the cage, Murong Yu would not dare attack him. However, he had underestimated the severed finger's power. Swoosh! Duan Hongfei's hand approached the iron cage and was about to grab it. However, at this moment, the shadow of a severed finger appeared directly above his head and pressed down with lightning speed. At the same time, Duan Hongfei's hand just happened to grab the iron cage. His smile grew even more ferocious. Bang! At this moment, Duan Hongfei's entire body exploded into a cloud of blood mist. Even his soul was minced into billions of pieces and finally devoured by Murong Yu. The soul of an imperishable stage powerhouse was a great tonic. After killing Duan Hongfei, Murong Yu waved his hand and put Gongsun Ningyu and Wen Yi into the Hichu Luoshu world. At the same time, he rose into the air and looked through the void at Meng Zhanping and Ji Rueda, who were frantically fleeing out of the Duan residence. It was not that they were too slow and could not escape the Duan residence for a long time. It was that everything had happened too quickly. From the time they fled to Murong Yu killing Duan Hongfei with the severed finger, it was only a matter of a thought. A thought was even shorter than an instant. How much time had passed in a single thought? Even if they were imperishable stage powerhouses, they could not escape in time. When Murong Yu looked over, Ji Rueda and Meng Zhanping suddenly felt an extremely strong aura of death in their hearts. Immediately, their hearts trembled and they looked over. They saw an incomparably huge, severed finger breaking through the void and pressing down on them. The two of them were shocked and used all their strength to rush into the distance, wanting to escape the severed finger. However, although they were fast, the severed finger was faster. Almost at the same time as they increased their strength, the severed finger was already pressing down on them. Bang! Bang! In fact, the two of them did not even have time to panic before they were killed. In fact, under the terrifying power of a short explosion, not even a drop of blood was left behind. The severed finger was the severed finger of a powerhouse from the Skyfire tribe. The terrifying power it contained could even kill an ancestral sage powerhouse, let alone Duan Hongfei and the others who were only imperishable stage powerhouses. Therefore, they did not even have time to react. Duan clan, all of you shall die. After killing Ji Rueda and the other two imperishable stage powerhouses, Murong Yu rose into the air and hovered in the sky. He shouted with a cold expression and pressed down with the severed finger in his hand. At that moment, the Duan clan members had yet to react to what was going on. A terrifying aura had already descended from the sky. And then, there was no more and then. The entire Duan clan was completely razed to the ground. Apart from those who were not originally in the Duan clan, everyone in the Duan clan was a master of the four arts. Soul devouring. After these people died, there were still a large number of soul fragments that had yet to be destroyed. Murong Yu sat cross-legged in the air and started devouring souls. Only then did the people near the Duan clan react. They shot over from afar, wanting to see who had destroyed the Duan clan, one of the tyrants of Skyfire City, with the flip of a hand. Chapter 1291. Murong Yu. It was actually Murong Yu. When they arrived near the ruins of the Duan residence, the first thing they saw was Murong Yu, who was sitting cross-legged in the air. Murong Yu had entered the Duan residence, but it was now razed to the ground. Only Murong Yu was sitting cross-legged in the void. Even a fool would know what had happened. However, knowing was one thing. They were all very curious about how Murong Yu had done all this. The Duan family, including the Duan family head Duan Hongfei, were all killed. Moreover, The Meng family head Meng Zhanping and the Ji family head Ji Ruida were all killed by Morongyu. Some of the saints who had witnessed the deaths of Duan Hongfei and the other two began to brag. They were all very excited. It was as if the one who had killed Meng Zhanping was not Morongyu, but them. What? How is this possible? Even if Morongyu is a soul saint, he doesn't have such terrifying strength, right? After this person spoke, someone immediately became suspicious. You're wrong. Morongyu didn't use a soul attack to kill the Meng family head and the others. Do you see that broken finger floating above his head? Previously, Morongyu grabbed the broken finger and pressed it down. The Ji family head and the others were killed. They were beaten to death and didn't even have time to react. Another person confirmed the previous person's words. However, this made everyone more and more shocked. Whoosh! Countless gazes were fixed on the severed finger hovering above Morongyu's head. However, they couldn't see that this broken finger had such terrifying power. At this moment, the broken finger was completely different from when it was in the heavenly fire space. There was no terrifying aura fluctuation, nor was there any blazing heavenly fire. Moreover, it was less than half a meter long. Other than being slightly bigger, it was no different from an ordinary finger. Of course, if this was a broken finger of the heavenly fire race, most people present didn't know. This was because they did not know that Tianmeng was being suppressed in the heavenly fire space. This was because they were unable to enter. While everyone was looking at Tianmeng's broken finger, Morongyu had already devoured all the soul fragments in the Duan clan. Then, he stood up and glanced coldly at the people on the ground. Then, he took a step forward. He's heading towards the Meng clan. Is it just to destroy the Meng clan? Seeing the direction in which Morongyu was heading, the crowd suddenly became noisy. Some of the Meng family's disciples had a bad feeling about this. The Meng clan and the Ji clan were very conspicuous in Heaven Fire City, so Morongyu already knew where they were. In a flash, he arrived above the Meng family. When Morongyu appeared in the sky above the Meng clan, a loud shout came from the Meng clan. Who dares to behave so atrociously in the Meng clan? Hearing this voice, many people in the crowd sneered. Even their most powerful patriarch had been slapped to death, yet the Meng clan was still boasting shamelessly in front of this person? In the sky, Morongyu was also sneering. However, his movements didn't slow down in the slightest because of his sneers. The patriarch of the Meng clan, Meng Zhanping, wants to kill me. I've already killed him. However, I, Morongyu, live by the principle that I won't attack unless I'm attacked. If I'm attacked, I'll eliminate them completely. From today onwards, your Meng clan and Ji clan will be completely erased from the saints' world. His voice boomed like thunder, spreading far and wide. At this moment, Morongyu had already taken action. Holding Tianmeng's broken finger, he waved it lightly and pressed it down on the Meng clan below. However, to everyone's surprise and the people of the Meng clan's sneer, there were no ripples of energy when Morongyu pressed down with the broken finger. Haha, is this little bastard stupid? Does he want to kill us with that broken finger? Many people in the Meng clan laughed and mocked Morongyu. Some of them had even soared into the sky and charged at Morongyu. However, Morongyu didn't panic, and his expression didn't change in the slightest. Puff, puff, puff. All of a sudden, the bodies of the Meng family members that were charging at Morongyu exploded. An incomparably vast pressure appeared out of nowhere. Immediately, the people outside and inside the Meng clan saw a terrifying aura descend from the sky. Wherever it passed, large areas of space collapsed. For a moment, everyone's heart was enveloped by an intense aura of death. Rumble, almost in an instant, that incomparably terrifying power had already strangled down. Immediately, countless people saw the Meng clan, which originally had countless experts, being razed to the ground. Not a single one was left alive. Everyone could not help but gasp. They all looked at Morongyu in shock and the broken finger in his hand. They were pondering the origin of the broken finger. At the same time, some hidden experts in Skyfire City were also sizing up the broken finger. While they were surprised, there was also some greed. Murong Yu sat cross-legged again, and began to devour the soul fragments of the Meng clan. These soul fragments were extremely useful for improving his soul realm. He did not want to waste them. After absorbing all the soul fragments in a few breaths' time, Murong Yu stood up and headed back to the Ji residence. At this time, the Ji clan had already received the news that the Duan clan and the Meng clan had been destroyed. They even knew that Meng Zhamping had been killed. At this time, the Ji clan was in chaos. Many people had already fled the Ji clan. Although there were experts suppressing the Ji clan, no one wanted to die. Therefore, when Murong Yu arrived at the Ji clan, 1/3 of the Ji clan had already fled. Just as Murong Yu was about to kill the Ji clan in one fell swoop, a loud shout was heard. Murong Yu, enough! Immediately, a figure rose from the ground and appeared in front of Murong Yu, above the Ji clan. A profound sage. Murong Yu narrowed his eyes slightly. The light on this person's body was similar to Li Di's, but it was still a bit inferior to ancestor blood rains. It was a middle-aged man in black. "Who are you?" Murong Yu's face became gloomy, and he asked in a bad mood. "I'm Murong Yu from the City Lord's mansion. You have already destroyed the Duan clan and the Meng clan. That is enough. The City Lord's mansion will absolutely not allow you to destroy the Ji clan," the middle-aged man said indifferently, his eyes flashing coldly. The City Lord's mansion. The City Lord's people were actually so powerful? Murong Yu was somewhat puzzled. What he did not know was that the City Lord's mansion of Skyfire City had nothing to do with the Nine Holy Kingdom. Although Skyfire City was in the territory of the Nine Holy Kingdom, it did not belong to it. It could be said to be an independent city that was independently managed by the City Lord's mansion. The Meng clan and the Duan clan were the overlords of Skyfire City, but they did not dare to be presumptuous. This was because the City Lord's mansion was the absolute ruler of Skyfire City. If they wanted to, the City Lord's mansion could easily destroy their clans. However, the City Lord of Skyfire City had never intended to destroy them. Instead, he chose to turn a blind eye to their actions. The people guessed that they must have colluded with each other. Ha ha! Murong Yu looked up to the sky and laughed loudly. After a long time, he stopped laughing. He looked indifferently at the middle-aged man in black and asked, "I wanted to destroy the Ji clan, and the City Lord's mansion came out to stop me. Why didn't the City Lord's mansion see when Duan Hongfei and the others wanted to kill me? Why didn't you see when they kidnapped my friends and I surrendered? Could it be that your dog eyes are all blind? Or are you protecting each other and bullying an outsider like me? Impudent! Murong Yu, you acted recklessly and killed the innocent. You are a cruel person. You slaughtered the Duan clan and the Meng clan. Our City Lord's mansion understands the anger in your heart and will not bicker with you. However, if you continue to act recklessly and want to destroy the Ji clan, then I can only take you down." The middle-aged man in black from the City Lord's mansion scolded Murong Yu with a murderous aura. Murong Yu sneered, "You might as well say that you covet my so-called soul sanctification technique. Now, I will leave my words here. If you don't scram, I don't care if you are from the City Lord's mansion or the Nine Holy Kingdom. I will kill you without mercy." Hee, the black-clothed man sneered. He took a step forward and grabbed at Murong Yu. He wanted to capture Murong Yu. "Die for me!" Murong Yu roared. His right hand grabbed Tianmeng's broken finger and slapped it at the black-clothed man. Bang! A power comparable to an ancestor sage's attack suddenly erupted. The black-clothed man, who had reached the profound sage realm, felt a strong aura of death. Before he could react, Tianmeng's broken finger had already slapped him. In an instant, the black-clothed man was slapped until not even a speck of dust was left. Tianmeng's broken finger did not stop at all. It slapped down at the Ji clan below. Asterisk rumble. Without any hesitation, the entire Ji clan was destroyed by Morong Yu after the Duan clan and the Meng clan. However, relatively speaking, the Ji clan was the smallest. This was because many people had already evacuated from the Ji clan. They had been spared from death. Soul devouring. Morong Yu continued to devour the soul fragments. However, just as he devoured the black-clothed man's soul fragment, a cold snort came from the city lord's mansion. Crack. Morong Yu's body began to crack, and it looked as if it was about to shatter at any moment. Even his soul that had reached the level of a one-star soul also suffered an impact. Morong Yu turned pale with fright. His figure flickered and disappeared, entering Hichu Luoshu. Schwa. The moment he entered Hichu Luoshu, a large hand stretched out from the city lord's mansion, directly grabbing at Morong Yu. However, because Morong Yu had already left, the large hand only managed to grab a large part of the void. Bang. It seemed as if it was furious that Morong Yu had escaped. The large hand grabbed with all its might, causing a large part of the void to explode. Then, the large hand retracted. The powerhouse of the city lord's mansion had made a move. At the very least, it was a super powerhouse who had surpassed the profound sage realm. Not long after the large hand retracted, a notice of Morong Yu's arrest was hung at the 4 gates of Heaven Flame City. Morong Yu also became the most unwelcome person in Heaven Flame City. He was permanently banned from entering Heaven Flame City. Once discovered, he would be killed without mercy. Chapter 1292. Sky Flame City had issued a kill order for Morong Yu. Moreover, each of the powerhouses soared into the sky and searched for Morong Yu in the surrounding area of Sky Flame City. It was obvious that Morong Yu's actions of slaughtering the 3 families and killing the powerhouse from the city lord's mansion had thoroughly enraged the city lord's mansion. In fact, many people in Sky Flame City felt that the city lord's mansion did this not only because Morong Yu had killed the 3 families. After all, although the 3 families of the Duan family had been annihilated, did Sky Flame City lack families? As long as the city lord's mansion was willing, they could support the other 3 families at any time. Moreover, although Morong Yu had annihilated the 3 families this time, the treasures of the 3 families had not been taken away by Morong Yu. After Morong Yu left, the city lord's mansion had already taken away all the treasures of the 3 families. The others did not dare to touch them at all. Everyone guessed that the reason why the city lord's mansion issued a kill order for Morong Yu was because Morong Yu had challenged their authority. The city lord's mansion had already stepped in. Not only did Morong Yu not give them face, he even killed their people. This kind of provocation was definitely not tolerated by the city lord's mansion. However, all of this had nothing to do with Morong Yu. Moreover, the people sent by the city lord's mansion could not find Morong Yu at all. In the Hichu Luoshu, Morong Yu spat out a mouthful of blood. His clothes were torn to shreds, and his body exploded with a boom. These were only superficial wounds. They were nothing to him. The important thing was that Morong Yu's soul was also injured. With a thought, the life force rushed out crazily. Very quickly, his body recovered to its peak state and his injuries were all gone. However, his injured soul was unable to heal directly. Therefore, he sat cross-legged on the ground and began to heal. Even though he didn't have a systematic cultivation technique, he was still a soul sanctification cultivator. Under his guidance, the recovery speed of his soul increased significantly. "Big Brother Morong, are you alright?" Gongsun Ningyu asked worriedly when she sensed Morong Yu's disordered soul fluctuations. Wen Yi, on the other hand, did not utter a single word. He sat cross-legged with a gloomy expression and closed his eyes to take a nap. However, this guy seemed to have gained something in the heavenly fire space. His strength was much higher than before. It was most likely that the seal on his body had begun to break. At this moment, he had already reached the pinnacle of the great sage realm. The Li family had used a special seal to suppress his power, and Murong Yu was unable to remove it. Therefore, he had yet to recover his peak strength, which was the undead realm. Murong Yu did not answer and continued to cultivate. Gongsun Ningyu did not continue to harass Murong Yu. A few days later, Murong Yu's soul was almost fully restored, and he sat cross-legged. However, he was cursing in his heart. The powerhouse who had attacked him that day had definitely surpassed the profound sage realm. At that time, Murong Yu had a feeling that even if he used Tianmeng's severed finger, he might not be a match for the other party. Therefore, he had decisively entered Hichu Luoshu and fled. Taking out Tianmeng's severed finger, Murong Yu's facial muscles twitched. Tianmeng had once told him that the severed finger was very powerful, and that it would not be a problem to kill a powerhouse in the ancestor sage realm. However, the power inside was limited. Now, in Murong Yu's eyes, the radiance of the severed finger's power was clearly much dimmer than when he had first obtained it. Murong Yu gritted his teeth. This time, if the Duan family had not forced him into a corner, he definitely would not have used the severed finger. It was too wasteful. This time, he had already wasted a quarter of its power. Murong Yu estimated that he could use it 3 more times at most. Moreover, the greater the power of the severed finger, the greater the consumption of power. I wonder if I can kill an ordinary ancestor sage if I use all this power at once? Murong Yu put away the severed finger with a dark face. This was his trump card, and he could not casually use it in the future. Coming to the side of Gongsun Ningyu, Murong Yu frowned slightly as he looked at the iron cage that trapped the two of them. Then, he looked at Wen Yi and asked, "Old man Wen, can you open the cage?" Murong Yu had tried to open the cage, but the material of the cage was very special. With his current strength, he could not open it at all. "I can't," Wen Yi said with a dark face. Anyone who was trapped in an iron cage would not have a good expression. "Hichu, is there any way?" Since no one could do anything, Murong Yu could only look for the omnipotent Hichu. However, Hichu also told him with certainty that he had no way. After all, Hichu's strength was only average. Well, Murong Yu's strength had been restored to the Great Sage Realm, but it did not have any effect. "Big brother Murong, do you have a way to break this iron cage? We can't get out even if we change our figures. The iron cage seems to have many formations and restrictions." At this time, Gongsun Ningyu said with a gloomy face, "Formations, restrictions?" Hearing this, Murong Yu's eyes lit up. If it was just an iron cage, he wouldn't be able to do anything. However, if it was a restriction... With a thought, Murong Yu turned into a tiny particle and charged towards the iron cage that held Gongsun Ningyu. Under the shocked gazes of Wen Yi and Gongsun Ningyu, Murong Yu turned into a particle and entered the cage without any resistance. "Big brother Murong, you can enter the iron cage? That's great." Gongsun Ningyu was startled at first, then she hugged Murong Yu's shoulder and shouted excitedly. However, Wen Yi, who was next to the iron cage, interrupted Gongsun Ningyu's excitement coldly. "Although he can go in and out, we still can't get out." The smile on Gongsun Ningyu's face immediately froze, then she looked at Murong Yu with a gloomy face. Her pitiful and delicate appearance made it seem as if she wanted Murong Yu's answer. Murong Yu did not let her down as he said with a smile, "Who said you can't get out? Wait." As he spoke, he turned into a particle again and left the iron cage. Then, his figure flickered and disappeared in front of Gongsun Ningyu and Wen Yi. Wen Yi's face darkened. "This kid definitely can't get us out, so he's so ashamed that he doesn't dare to see us. Big brother Murong is not that kind of person." Gongsun Ningyu immediately glared at Wen Yi. Wen Yi only looked at Gongsun Ningyu indifferently and did not say anything, looking like he would wait and see. Gongsun Ningyu was about to retort, but at this moment, a force enveloped the two iron cages. Then, the scene in front of them changed, and they appeared in the saint's world. "What's going on?" Before Wen Yi and Gongsun Ningyu could react, they saw Murong Yu turn into a particle again and enter the iron cage where Gong Sun Ningyu was. Then Gong Sun Ningyu disappeared. When Yi was stunned, then he found that he had re-entered the Hichu Luoshu world. At this moment, they finally understood how Murong Yu rescued them from the iron cage. Murong Yu could ignore the formations in the iron cage. Therefore, after he entered, he put Gong Sun Ningyu and 1E into the Hichu Luoshu world. We're finally out. Big brother Murong, those baddies from the Duan family are too despicable. Wait until I'm strong enough to kill them all. They actually used an iron cage to lock me up. Gong Sun Ningyu cheered first, then said fiercely, "You don't have the chance. The Duan family and the other two families have all been destroyed by me." Gong Sun Ningyu and 1E immediately looked at Murong Yu, their faces filled with shock and disbelief. Clearly, they did not believe that Murong Yu had the strength to do so. Murong Yu only smiled and did not explain too much. After all, that was all in the past. We can't use Skyfire City's teleportation array to go to the Desert of Death now. Which city with a teleportation array is close to us? Just as 1E was about to speak, Murong Yu furrowed his brows and his face turned gloomy. Something happened in the God realm. I have to go back and deal with it. Are you in the Saints' world or are you coming with me to the God realm? However, you can't enter the God realm. You can only stay in the Hichu Luoshu world. Just now, he sensed that Zhao Jiqing was calling for him. With the current situation in the God realm, Zhao Jiqing and the others would not be in any danger. Under normal circumstances, they would not need to call for Murong Yu at all. Now that such a situation occurred, something big must have happened. Moreover, Zhao Jiqing and the others were unable to deal with it. God realm? Gong Sun Ningyu was excited, but after hearing Murong Yu's words, she was a little depressed. I'll stay in the Saints' world. There's a left origin city nearby. I'll stay there temporarily. When you're done, come to the left origin city to find me. When he said after pondering for a moment. He said that he would bring Murong Yu to the Desert of Death. He would definitely not break his promise. Big brother Murong, although I can stay in your spatial treasure, it's too stuffy. I'll stay with Old Man One. When the time comes, you must remember to look for us. After a period of consideration, Gong Sun Ningyu finally gritted her teeth and decided to stay in the Saints' world. Murong Yu nodded and then disappeared on the spot in a flash. The next moment, he appeared in the Shenzhen of the God realm. Of course, when he appeared, he had already suppressed his realm to the limit. Moreover, because he was the master of the God realm would not reject him. Therefore, he was the same as an ordinary quasi-saint and did not feel any discomfort. With a sweep of his divine sense, Murong Yu discovered that Zhao Jiqing and the others were all gathered in the sacred hall. Moreover, all of them looked anxious and worried. Murong Yu narrowed his eyes slightly. His figure flashed and entered the hall. Then, he sat down on the main seat. Everyone in the sacred hall felt a phantom flash in front of them. Then, they discovered that there was an additional person in the hall. Immediately, they became alert. However, they soon saw that the additional person was Murong Yu. Before Murong Yu could say anything, Zhao Jiqing stood up and said in a deep voice, "I'm going to ascend." Murong Yu's face immediately darkened. With Zhao Jiqing's strength, if she was unwilling to ascend, she could still stay in the God's world for a few eras. Moreover, she did not need to worry about her lifespan at all. But now it was obvious that she was not willing to ascend. Then, there was a problem with Zhao Jiqing. Chapter 1293. Murong Yu's face was gloomy. Before he could say anything, Yu Mengqing and the rest started talking. In the end, Murong Yu finally understood what was going on. Zhao Jiqing, Yu Mengqing, Murong Xian and the rest had already passed the sage tribulation and became false sages. However, because of Murong Yu, they didn't ascend. Originally, they planned to ascend after Murong Yu established himself in the holy world. just like when they ascended from the immortal world to the God world. However, Zhao Jiqing, who had suppressed her cultivation and wouldn't ascend, gradually couldn't suppress her cultivation anymore. In reality, she was still a false sage. However, for some reason, there was always a strange power that tugged at her, trying to pull her to the saint's world. As time passed, the pulling force became stronger and stronger. Zhao Jiqing couldn't suppress it anymore. Even if they joined forces with Yu Mengqing and the rest, they couldn't suppress it. After such a thing happened, they felt fear. In the end, they couldn't help but inform Murongyu. As long as a false sage in the God world didn't deliberately reveal their strength, the power of the holy world wouldn't affect them. The God world wouldn't reject them either. Zhao Jiqing definitely didn't reveal her identity. Even if she suppressed her cultivation to the true God stage, it was still the same. Was someone deliberately targeting Zhao Jiqing? Could it be Xian Yu and the rest? Murongyu pondered in his heart. But very soon, he shook his head and denied it. If it was really Xian Yu, she wouldn't just target Zhao Jiqing. It was very likely that it was all of them. Moreover, Xian Yu was a false sage. Zhao Jiqing and the rest were also false sages. Their strength was about the same. It would be difficult to plot against Zhao Jiqing and the rest. Murong, I feel that this matter has something to do with my phoenix bloodline. While Murongyu was deep in thought, Zhao Jiqing suddenly said. Murongyu's eyes narrowed. Could it be that the phoenix race in the holy world is pulling you? After all, Zhao Jiqing had 100% phoenix race bloodline. However, would the phoenix race really pull the younger generation in such a way? If that's the case, Murongyu's face darkened. He definitely wouldn't allow Zhao Jiqing and the rest to leave his side. Why do you say that? Murongyu looked at Zhao Jiqing in astonishment as he sought confirmation. My phoenix bloodline is awakening. I can feel that I'm becoming stronger and stronger. I have various secret techniques. Other than that, some voices in my head from time to time. As soon as I ascend and return to the phoenix races. This should be the races. Murongyu's face turned ugly. He had a bad feeling. Dragons and phoenixes. The phoenix race was a sacred race and sacred beast on par with the dragon race. In the holy world, there were just too few races that could be compared to the dragon race. Even the powerful sky fire race didn't have the right to be compared to the dragon race. One could imagine just how powerful the phoenix race was. The phoenix race was one of the most powerful races in the holy world. If they wanted people, Murongyu wouldn't be able to resist at all. At the very least, he couldn't resist now. Let's go to the holy world and take a look first. After pondering for a moment, Murongyu finally decided to bring them to ascend. A few days later, Zhao Jiqing, Yu Mengqing, Mu Liue, Kurlan, and Situ Xian entered the Hichu Luoshu world. Then, Murongyu brought them to the holy world. However, Murong Xian, Murong Lin, and the others didn't ascend with them. Although they were already in the false saint stage, they still needed to guard the divine world. Murongyu appeared at the place where he separated from Gongsun, Ningyu, and Wenyi. In fact, Murongyu could directly appear beside Zhao Jiqing, but Zhao Jiqing and the others still needed to condense a true saint body. Therefore, what Murongyu needed to do now was to find a remote place for the 5 women to cultivate and condense a saint body one by one. Because he wasn't familiar with the holy world, Murongyu didn't know where the heaven and earth origin chi was denser. Therefore, he directly soared into the sky and searched nearby. All he had to do now was find a remote place to turn into one. As for the power needed for the 5 women to condense a saint body, he didn't have to worry at all because Murongyu had a large number of saint crystals. In the end, Murongyu went deep into an unknown mountain range. This mountain range didn't have any monster beasts, and at the same time, it was inaccessible, so it was suitable for the 5 women to cultivate here. Therefore, he released the 5 women from Hichu Luoshu. Is this the holy world? Feeling the incomparably dense heaven and earth origin chi in the holy world, Yu Mengqing and the other 3 women couldn't help but feel a little excited. In the holy world, there was only divine origin qi, which had no effect on them who had already passed the saint tribulation. They couldn't improve their realm. But now that they were submerged in the dense saint origin qi, they even felt that their realm was slowly improving. However, compared to the excitement of Yu Mengqing and the other 3 women, Zhao Jiqing wasn't happy at all. In fact, her face was a little gloomy at this time. What's wrong? Murong Yu had been paying attention to Zhao Jiqing. The summoning feeling is getting stronger and stronger, as if it wants me to go over. Zhao Jiqing looked to the east, her face a little ugly. It seemed that it was really the Phoenix clan's doing. Murong Yu's heart was also heavy. Condense the saint body first. Maybe after breaking through, you can get rid of the summoning. Murong Yu really didn't know what to do, so he could only comfort her. Zhao Jiqing nodded, then began to condense the saint body with Yu Mengqing and the others. Piles of saint crystals were moved out of the Hichu Luoshu by Murong Yu and piled up beside the 5 women. Directly refining the saint crystals, the 5 women's realm and physical body level rapidly improve. This was a lot faster than when Murong Yu had fought on his own. This should be considered as a man achieving the Tao, and his chickens and dogs rising to heaven, right? Murong Yu stood near them to protect them, and at the same time, he secretly communicated with Hichu. Hichu, what do you think about this? It should be that Zhao Jiqing's bloodline is too pure, which attracted the attention of the Phoenix clan. If this is the case, then Zhao Jiqing will be focused on training by the Phoenix clan. This is a good thing for her or for you. Murong Yu nodded, but there were 2 sides to everything. But you should also know that the Phoenix clan and the Dragon clan are the same. They think that other than themselves, everyone else is a low-level creature. Arrogance and looking down on others are their characteristic. Hichu sneered, as if he was very unhappy with the Phoenix clan. With your current strength, I'm afraid that the Phoenix clan will break up the 2 of you. How dare they? Murong Yu sneered, with a murderous aura. But soon, he calmed down. If Zhao Jiqing was really taken away by the Phoenix clan because her bloodline was too pure, the Phoenix clan would definitely do such a thing. After all, even if Murong Yu's soul became a saint, his realm was too low. This was a fact that could not be changed. In the following time, the 5 women were cultivating, and their realms and physical bodies were rapidly improving. Among them, Zhao Jiqing was the most outstanding. When the others could not even touch the edge of the saint body, her body had already broken through to the saint body realm. After she had broken through to the saintly being, her realm had also broken through. It took less than half a month. This speed left Murong Yu and the others dumbfounded. Even with the support of a large number of saint crystals, this speed was too fast, surpassing Murong Yu and the other women in one fell swoop. In fact, although Murong Yu was a chaotic celestial body, his talent was also very strong. However, his cultivation speed was not the fastest. This was because the chaotic celestial body had many restrictions. For example, the chaotic celestial body record, and so on. However, although Murong Yu's cultivation speed was not the fastest, it was definitely the most powerful. How many people in the holy world could kill enemies of a higher realm? Murong Yu could easily kill enemies of a higher realm. After breaking through to the saint body realm, Zhao Jiqing's speed of improvement slowed down and finally stopped. No matter how heaven-defying one's aptitude and talent were, it was impossible to improve one realm after another. One needed to cultivate and comprehend. After Zhao Jiqing, the second to break through was Mu Liu, then Situ Xian. Finally, Ke Lan and Yu Mengqing. This showed the gap in aptitude between the 5 women. However, even Yu Mengqing, who broke through last, had much better aptitude than most people in the holy world. It was just that she paled in comparison to Zhao Jiqing and the others who had better aptitudes than her. At this time, they had only ascended to the holy world for about half a year. Their realms and physical bodies had broken through in about half a year. Even with the support of a large number of crystals, it was still extremely heaven-defying. How many people in the holy world could not enter the saint realm from the false saint realm in their lifetime? However, what made Murong Yu and the others depressed was that the call in Zhao Jiqing's heart did not disappear with the increase in her cultivation. On the contrary, it became more and more intense. Let's leave this place first and slowly think of a way to solve this matter. After a while, we will go directly to the Phoenix clan. Murong Yu pondered for a moment before saying, "Go to the Phoenix clan? An ant-like existence like you dares to talk about going to the Phoenix clan? Do you believe that the Phoenix clan will be suppressed to death before they can even get close? You really overestimate yourself." Before Murong Yu's voice fell, a disdainful voice sounded. Immediately after, 3 figures shot over from the distant horizon. Murong Yu and the others' expressions changed instantly, and they looked towards the source of the voice. Murong Yu's pupils abruptly shrank. He was stimulated by the intense light from the 3 people's bodies. The 3 of them were very strong, and the weakest was at Ancestor Blood Rain's level. Although the strongest person was not as strong as Huang Shi and the others, he was not far off. "They are from the Phoenix clan." Zhao Jiqing came to Murong Yu's side and said in a deep voice. As they spoke, the 3 people had already arrived in front of Murong Yu and the others and landed. They were a middle-aged man in gray, a young man in fancy clothes, and a young girl whose appearance was comparable to Zhao Jiqing and the others. At this moment, the 3 of them were looking at Murong Yu, or more accurately, they were all looking at Zhao Jiqing. Chapter 1294. The 3 of them looked at Zhao Jiqing with different expressions. The beautiful woman, who was about 20 years old, looked at Zhao Jiqing with hostility, as if Zhao Jiqing was her mortal enemy. Seeing her expression, Murong Yu frowned slightly and was a little unhappy. This was the first time they met, and the 2 sides didn't have any interaction before. This person was really uneducated. The middle-aged man in gray looked at Zhao Jiqing with a complicated expression. There was surprise, appreciation, and some undecipherable meaning. Relatively speaking, the middle-aged man in gray's expression was still acceptable. But the young man's expression made Murong Yu burst with killing intent. It could be described with 3 words: lecherous. Although the young man's expression was more obscure, it was definitely lecherous. That pair of peach blossom eyes kept looking at Zhao Jiqing, and even the women except Murong Yu, up and down, full of obscenity. At first glance, it was obvious that this person was not a good thing. The women felt a chill run down their spines, and involuntarily moved closer to Murong Yu, at the same time showing a disgusted expression. "Husband, this person's peach blossom eyes are so disgusting, go poke him blind." Kurlan was really unscrupulous. No matter who you were, what occasion you were in, if you made her unhappy, she would say it directly. Moreover, wasn't Murong Yu by her side? Even if the sky fell, Murong Yu would block it. Hearing Kurlan's words, Zhao Jiqing and the others couldn't help but chuckle. This laughter was amazing, and each one of them was really like a blooming flower, 100 flowers competing for the beauty and beautiful to the extreme. The young man from the Phoenix clan's peach blossom eyes flickered with a little light, and he was deeply attracted to Zhao Jiqing and the other women. Somewhere in his body seemed to have a reaction. Seeing this, everyone was even more disgusted with him. At this time, Murong Yu also wanted to poke his dog eyes blind. She felt as if her body had been dirted by his gaze. However, Murong Yu could not make a move now. Although the young man's face was like a peach blossom, his strength was not to be underestimated. Peak profound sage. Moreover, that girl's strength was about the same as his. The most terrifying one was the middle-aged man in gray. Although Murong Yu did not know the exact strength of the other party. However, he estimated that it was about the same level as the expert who had attacked him in Heaven Fire City. Moreover, The other party was a powerhouse from the Phoenix clan. As expected, he has an extremely pure Phoenix bloodline. Little girl, if you were in the clan, your potential would be quickly unearthed, and your future achievements would be limitless. At this time, the middle-aged man in gray withdrew his gaze and said with satisfaction. However, Zhao Jiqing did not even look at them. Hey, are you guys deaf? Didn't you hear Elder Feng He? Seeing that Morong Yu and the others did not even look at her, the girl who was hostile to Zhao Jiqing could not help but scold them. Although she knew that these three people had come for her, Zhao Jiqing did not want to pay attention to them and just looked at Morong Yu. Morong Yu smiled faintly and said, "What are the three of you here for? If there is nothing, we will leave." "You can leave. However, she must stay. How can a descendant of my Phoenix clan mix with a lowly human like you? You are not qualified. You are simply tarnishing the nobility of my Phoenix clan." The young man withdrew his peach blossom eyes and looked at Morong Yu with a proud expression, as if he was the sky. Morong Yu and the others were instantly angry. "Sorry, we are all humans, and there are no descendants of the Phoenix clan here. If there is nothing else, please do not delay us. Our time is precious." Zhao Jiqing's face turned gloomy. She was also a human, but she had inherited the Phoenix clan's bloodline because she had received the Phoenix clan's inheritance. Moreover, Morong Yu was her husband, and she would not allow anyone to humiliate him. No one could do it. "You." The young man was stunned and his face turned gloomy. "All descendants of the Phoenix clan must return to the clan. You cannot lower yourself to mix with humans. That is a great disrespect to the Phoenix clan. You must return to the Phoenix clan. Also, you guys better get out of here as soon as possible. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." As he spoke, the young man from the Phoenix clan was filled with murderous intent. He actually wanted to kill Morong Yu and the others. The other girls were still fine. After all, they were beauties. However, it was different for Morong Yu. The young man's terrifying murderous intent swept over. "Feng Chun, don't be rude." The gray-robed middle-aged man, who was Elder Feng He, had a gloomy expression. He could tell that Zhao Jiqing had an unusual relationship with Morong Yu and the others. Although he did not like it, he knew Zhao Jiqing's potential. Zhao Jiqing's bloodline was too pure, and it had surpassed most of the people in the Phoenix clan. With such a pure bloodline, once the inheritance of the Phoenixes was fully activated, her strength would skyrocket. She could reach an extremely high realm in a short period of time. As her cultivation base rapidly increased, her status in the Phoenix clan also continued to rise. In the end, what realm could she reach? What status could she have? Although Feng He did not know, he knew that Zhao Jiqing's achievements in the future would definitely be extraordinary. If they fell out with Morong Yu and the others now, when Zhao Jiqing became stronger, they would have to bear the consequences of what they had done today. Puff, after knowing that the young man's name was Feng Chun, Morong Yu and the others could not help but laugh. Those peach blossom eyes and the name Feng Chun were a perfect match. "Elder Feng He, I told you not to call me by my name." Feng Chun looked at Feng He with dissatisfaction. His heart was filled with displeasure. His name was a taboo, and no one dared to call him that. At the same time, he felt gloomy. Seeing that he had become a laughingstock for a group of human ants, Feng Chun became even more furious. A murderous aura that was so dense that it almost materialized swept out and headed straight for Morong Yu. Feng He frowned slightly. This Feng Chun was extremely annoying. If not for his identity, he would have killed him with a slap. He coldly snorted. After dispelling the killing intent, he looked at Morong Yu. He knew that Zhao Jiqing listened to Morong Yu, and Morong Yu was the one in charge. "You all ascended from the god realm? She has an extremely pure bloodline of the Phoenix clan. Before you all ascended, our Phoenix clan had already noticed it. Therefore, we used some methods to allow her to ascend to the sacred world and directly to the Phoenix clan." As expected, it was the Phoenix clan's doing. A cold light flashed past Morong-Yu's eyes. He was extremely displeased. Although I don't know what methods you used, you did not appear in the Phoenix clan after ascending. However, she is destined to be a member of our Phoenix clan. Elder Feng-He, does everyone from the Phoenix clan have to return to the Phoenix clan? She is my wife. Moreover, she is not a descendant of the Phoenix clan. She is only related to a senior of the Phoenix clan. Back then, that senior of the Phoenix clan did not say that she would definitely return to the Phoenix clan. Otherwise, we would definitely not have any interaction with that senior. Before Feng-He could finish, Morong-Yu rudely interrupted him. Moreover, his tone was very harsh. Clearly, he was very displeased. Impudent! Little bastard, how dare you speak to Elder Feng-He like that? You lowly human, how dare you defile a woman of the Phoenix clan? You are simply courting death. The peach blossom eyes were furious. He reached out his hand and grabbed at Morong-Yu. Impudent! Feng-He flew into a rage and slapped Feng-Chun with the back of his hand. Feng-Chun was furious. However, Feng-He's status in the Phoenix clan was not low. He was not someone he could touch. In the end, he could only stare at Morong-Yu with an extremely venomous gaze from not far away. Morong-Yu was furious. He really wanted to take out Tianmeng's finger and kill this B*****starred. The person who slapped him just now was Feng-He, not him. What did it have to do with him? Little did he know that Feng-Chun had transferred all of this to Morong-Yu. If it were not for Morong-Yu, why would he be slapped? At this moment, he was already thinking about how to kill Morong-Yu. How can this little bastard have a woman of the Phoenix clan as his wife? And how many beautiful wives do he have? As long as I kill this little bastard, these women will be mine. Feng-Chun thought of all kinds of schemes against Morong-Yu. However, her Phoenix clan bloodline is indeed very pure. I know you don't want to be separated, but I want to ask you, how many cultivation resources can you provide her? Do you have the huge amount of resources that my Phoenix clan has? I can tell you for sure that with her bloodline, once she returns to the Phoenix clan, she will definitely be very important. She will definitely be heavily nurtured by the Phoenix clan. In the God realm, she has already attracted the attention of a few elders of the Phoenix clan. There are even a few elders who have revealed the idea of taking her in as a disciple. Once she becomes the disciple of the Phoenix clan's elders, she will have an extremely high status and a huge amount of resources as her backing. Can you guarantee all of this? After hearing all this, Morong-Yu was a little moved. To be honest, the sacred world was more than 1,000,000 times more complicated than the God realm. If he wanted to settle down here, the time he would need to spend would definitely exceed the time needed to unify the God realm. Moreover, the sacred world was 1,000,000 times more dangerous than the God realm. Right now, Morong-Yu already had sage rulers and even ancestor sages as his enemies. Moreover, as the news of his soul becoming a sage spread, his enemies would only increase. Once news of him being a chaotic celestial body spread, Zhao Yun's enemies would come looking for them. Even the sovereigns and sovereigns wouldn't let him go. Once these existences made a move, Morong-Yu would find it difficult to protect himself, let alone the women by his side. Moreover, he believed that his secret of being a chaotic celestial body wouldn't be kept for long. After all, even Tianmeng could tell that he was a chaotic celestial body. He didn't dare say that Zhao Yun and the other experts couldn't. Moreover, who knew if the sovereign of the heavens would go crazy and send a strand of his consciousness across the sacred world and discover Morong-Yu's secret? The Phoenix clan's strength was unquestionable. If Zhao Jiqing could obtain a certain status in the Phoenix clan, then not only would she be able to protect herself, she would also be able to help him. Chapter 1295. No matter what, it seemed to be the best choice for Zhao Jiqing to go to the Phoenix clan. Although Morong-Yu was a little tempted, he still looked at Morong-Yu. The decision was not in his hands, but in Zhao Jiqing's hands. If Zhao Jiqing was willing to go, Murong Yu would not stop her. If Zhao Jiqing was unwilling, then forget it. Therefore, Murong Yu looked at Zhao Jiqing. Yu Mengqing and the others also looked at Zhao Jiqing. Although they were unwilling to let Zhao Jiqing leave, it seemed that going to the Phoenix clan was really the best choice. Zhao Jiqing shook her head. I'm not going to the Phoenix clan. I won't leave you. The elder of the Phoenix clan, Feng He, was originally looking at Zhao Jiqing with a smile. After he said those tempting conditions, he thought that Zhao Jiqing would immediately agree. However, he did not expect Zhao Jiqing to reject him immediately. However, no matter what, he would bring Zhao Jiqing back to the Phoenix clan. Even if he had to snatch it, he would snatch it back. Murong Yu was very happy with Zhao Jiqing's answer. However, although he was happy, this answer was not what he wanted. Therefore, he began to persuade Zhao Jiqing through voice transmission. However, no matter how he persuaded, Zhao Jiqing still did not agree. This made Murong Yu a little anxious. The Phoenix clan may be very powerful, but I won't leave my husband. I appreciate your kindness, but I can't accept it. Zhao Jiqing looked at the elder of the Phoenix clan, Feng He, and said firmly. Feng Chun walked up with an impatient expression and said with a gloomy face, Elder Feng He, our order is to bring her back at all costs. I think we should just kill the rest of them and erase her memory. It's troublesome to talk so much. Hearing this, everyone's expression changed. Even Feng Chun and the girl from the Phoenix clan were the same. How dare you? Zhao Jiqing immediately flew into a rage. She looked at Feng Chun with a gloomy face, and a terrifying murderous intent filled the air. Murong Yu narrowed his eyes and looked at Feng Chun with a dangerous glint in his eyes. Murong Yu heard Mu Liu's low voice. Husband, I'm afraid this is the Phoenix tribe's original intention? If that's the case, then let's fight them to the death. Is the Phoenix clan that great? Kurlan sneered. Since they dared to touch them, they would fight even if they had to die. Feng Chun, shut up. Feng He was furious. He almost couldn't hold himself back from killing someone. Other than having a head full of obscene thoughts, this Feng Chun did not have anything else. He was simply an idiot. Elder Feng He, is what that Feng Chun said true? If we refuse, will you kill us? Murong Yu looked at Feng He with a gloomy face, his voice calm. However, everyone present could hear the intense murderous intent in his voice. Feng He was also shocked by Murong Yu's murderous intent. He couldn't help but take a deep look at Murong Yu, and his face turned cold. That's right. Before we came out, the higher-ups ordered us to bring her back. At any cost. Murong Yu and the others' faces changed. Killing you and wiping her memories is as easy as flipping my hand, but I won't do that. If you refuse me, I will return to the Phoenix tribe immediately. Feng He paused for a moment, then glanced at Murong Yu's group of 6 before continuing. However, not everyone in the Feng clan is as easy to talk to as I am. I can't guarantee that the others won't do it either. Moreover, the Phoenix tribe's bloodline in your body is too pure. We only need to use a little trick to know where you are. A threat. It was definitely a threat. Murong Yu and the others' faces turned ugly. In other words, you're relatively easy to talk to? Are you threatening us? Murong Yu's eyes shone as he looked at Feng He. No one knew what he was thinking. Feng He was threatening Murong Yu at the same time. Although the saints' world was huge, they had nowhere to hide. You can consider it a threat. As for whether you want to return with me or not, I won't force you. Feng He looked at Zhao Jiqing and said indifferently. He left the decision to Zhao Jiqing. Zhao Jiqing hesitated. She didn't want to leave Murong Yu, but she didn't want Murong Yu and the others to be in any danger either. In this situation, it seemed like she had to go with them. If you don't want these pieces of trash to be killed, I advise you to come back with us obediently. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that anything will happen. I'm not as easy to talk to as Elder Feng He, Feng Chun said sarcastically at this moment. Shut up. Zhao Jiqing looked at Feng Chun with an icy expression. She couldn't hide her killing intent. She hated this peach blossom eyes to the extreme. Good. Very good. Feng Chun chuckled coldly, but her eyes shone with resentment. Bitch, when you fall into my hands, I'll let you know the consequences of offending me. This body should feel good. TSK. Husband, I really want to poke Feng Chun's peach blossom eyes blind. Situ Xian, who was relatively gentle among the 5 women, finally couldn't hold it in. She sent a voice transmission to Murong Yu while glaring angrily at Feng Chun. If I have the chance, I'll definitely kill her. Murong Yu was also very unhappy with the peach blossom eyes. Since that's the case, I'll go back with you. Zhao Jiqing finally agreed after some consideration. Then, she looked at Murong Yu, Yu Mengqing, and the others and said, If there's anything you want the Phoenix clan to find me for, I'll definitely work hard. If someone dares to touch you, I'll kill them even if I have to risk my life. As she spoke, Zhao Jiqing glanced at the peach blossom eyes. A cold, killing intent flashed through the peach blossom eyes, but it disappeared in a flash. The Phoenix clan has never welcomed outsiders, especially low-level humans. You'd better not go near the Phoenix clan's territory. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't even know how you died. The peach blossom eyes said indifferently. However, she laughed sinisterly in her heart. You won't live for long. I'll kill you personally. The Phoenix clan's elder, Feng He, nodded and said, In the future, it's best if you don't come here. The Phoenix clan usually doesn't allow outsiders to get close, especially you humans and those who aren't at a high realm. Murong Yu's face became even gloomier, and he was extremely unhappy. Isn't it just the Phoenix clan? Do you really think you're better than others? In the future, I'll tear your Phoenix clan apart. No one knew that Murong Yu's joke would actually come true one day. This was a story for later, so let's not talk about it for now. Alright, let's go back. The sooner we go back, the faster your strength will improve. Feng He said, and then rose into the air. Husband, sisters, I'll miss you. When I'm not here, you must take good care of your husband. She reluctantly said goodbye, but in the end, she left. Little bastard, you'd better not let me see you again, or I'll kill you. Haha. The peach blossom eyes' laughter rang in Murong Yu's ears, extremely arrogant. By the way, from now on, that Zhao Jiqing is no longer your woman. Because you don't deserve her. Only men like me have the right to enjoy the women of the Phoenix clan. Watch me play with your woman. Ha ha. Crack. Crack. The sound of the air exploding was heard. It was the angry Murong Yu who clenched his fist, crushing the air in his fist. Little man, are we just going to let Sister Jiqing go like this? Mu Liue couldn't help but ask after the peach blossom eyes, and the rest left. However, her pretty face was cold, and she looked very unhappy. In front of others, they called Murong Yu husband. Behind others, it's good that Jiqing went to the Phoenix clan. Murong Yu suppressed the anger and murderous intent in his heart, and said in a low voice, But the Phoenix clan is too despicable, they used us to threaten us. Sister Jiqing went because of us. Kurlan was so angry that she was about to explode. Murong Yu waved his hand, I'm even angrier than all of you. But we're not strong enough to fight against the Phoenix clan. But one day, I'll make them regret it. If nothing happens to Jiqing, then it's fine. Otherwise, I'll flatten the Phoenix clan. I'll wipe them off the face of the holy world. This was a man's vow, and it was the first time Murong Yu had made such a vow. The girls fell silent. They could hear the grievance, humiliation, and helplessness in Murong Yu's words. They all understood. As a man, he couldn't protect his woman. No one would feel good about it. Forget it, Sister Jiqing should be fine. Where are we going now? Yu Mengqing forced a smile. She looked at Murong Yu. Left Origin City. Immediately, they rose into the air and flew in the direction of Left Origin City. Murong Yu had always felt that his strength was too weak, and had been forcing himself to quickly improve his realm. But now that this had happened, his desire to quickly improve his realm was even stronger. However, his strength was not something he could break through whenever he wanted, or else the holy world would be full of super powerhouses. He planned to go to Left Origin City to find Wen-Yi, and then go to the Desert of Death. There was a method of soul sanctification there, and although it was not confirmed yet, he still had to go and take a look. Left Origin City wasn't very far from Murong Yu's location. However, because of Yu Mengqing and the others, Murong Yu's speed was not fast. Moreover, since the incident with Zhao Jiqing, everyone was a little depressed. Therefore, they were not in a hurry to travel, and it was equivalent to relaxing. Left Origin City was a city similar to White Sun City. However, there was no sect like Blood Rain Mountain nearby. Therefore, there were not many experts in White Sun City. An undead realm expert was already considered an existence of the old ancestor level here. At this time, outside a house in White Sun City, the old ancestor of a big family in Left Origin City, an undead realm super powerhouse, was walking step by step towards the house. In front of him was Wen-Yi, who was vomiting blood, his face was pale, and his aura was in chaos. Gongsun Ningyu was hiding behind Wen-Yi with a panicked expression, looking at the undead realm old ancestor who was approaching step by step with fear. "You have guts. Not only did you not obey my Pang family's order to hand over the woman, but you even killed my Pang family's disciple. Who gave you the guts to do that?" The Pang family's old ancestor's voice was cold, containing a terrifying murderous intent. He slowly approached with murderous intent. Chapter 1296. Feeling Gongsun Ningyu's body trembling in fear behind him, the anger in Wen-Yi's heart grew stronger and stronger. Unlike White Sun City, Left Origin City was dominated by the Pang family except for the City Lord's mansion. It was said that the City Lord's mansion and the Pang family had long been in cahoots to suppress the other families. Therefore, for countless years, the other families had not been able to develop. Usually, the Pang family controlled almost the entire Left Origin City. The benefits were divided equally with the City Lord's mansion. It was because of this that the Pang family was the overlord of Left Origin City. Here, he was the king. As for the others, no one dared to disobey him. Unless you didn't want to live or didn't want to stay in Left Origin City. A few days ago, when Ian Gongsun Ningyu came to Left Origin City, because they didn't know when Murong Yu would return to the Holy World, they used the Saint Crystals in their hands to buy a property in the city. It was nothing, the Pang family wouldn't touch them. But the Pang family didn't know what to sacrifice. They actually searched the entire city for pure virgins. And it was a young girl of a certain age. Perhaps because they had already received the news, most of the so-called pure virgins in the Left Origin City had already left the city. Naturally, because there weren't enough, the Pang family went to Gongsun Ningyu. Gongsun Ningyu and Wen-Yi naturally wouldn't agree. Therefore, a conflict broke out. In the beginning, Wen-Yi showed his might and killed all the ordinary disciples of the Pang family. The Pang family was naturally furious and then sent a great sage. However, although Wen-Yi had not recovered his peak strength, he was still a great sage peak. Therefore, the Pang family's great sages were naturally no match for him and were all killed. Wen-Yi even had a mid-grade sacred artifact. If a mid-grade sacred artifact could unleash its full power, it was equivalent to a high-level undead realm powerhouse. Although Wen-Yi couldn't unleash the full power of the mid-grade sacred artifact, he only needed to unleash a portion of its power to kill an ordinary undead realm powerhouse. Therefore, when a huge ordinary undead realm powerhouse attacked, he was caught off guard and was killed by Wen-Yi. This time, Wen-Yi poked a hornet's nest. One should know that the Pang family didn't have many undead realm powerhouses. These were ancestor-level existences. Now that one of them had been killed, the most powerful old ancestor came out of seclusion in anger. However, he still disdained to make a move against Wen-Yi. Instead, it was another old ancestor who had reached the mid-level undead realm. The reason why Wen-Yi could kill ordinary undead experts was because he relied on a mid-grade saint artifact. But against a mid-level undead realm expert, his strength was not enough. As soon as the battle began, he was quickly defeated. And now, he was being forced back by the Pang family's patriarch. Furthermore, Wen-Yi was severely injured and could not escape even if he wanted to. Moreover, Wen-Yi also sensed that there were several powerful divine senses secretly monitoring the two of them. There was nowhere to run. At this time, both Wen-Yi and Gongsun Ningyu couldn't help but think of Murong-Yu. It seemed that as long as Murong-Yu was there, no matter how big the crisis was, he would be able to resolve it. However, Murong-Yu was probably still in the God realm, right? It was impossible to count on him, Dong. The Pang family's patriarch took a step forward, and the earth seemed to tremble. The sound was as loud as a drum being beaten, and it spread far and wide. Wen-Yi's body felt as if it had been hit by a heavy object. As his blood and qi roiled, he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was already seriously injured, and now his injuries were getting worse. "That's all you've got. Today I'll take your life." The Pang family's patriarch sneered, and his large hand suddenly reached out and punched at Wen-Yi. Sensing the Pang family's patriarch's killing intent and terrifying power, Wen-Yi was stunned. Wen-Yi's eyes flashed. His body lightly knocked back, and Gongsun Ningyu was sent flying. Then, he took a step forward, and his fists glowed with holy light as he punched out. Rumble! After a shocking explosion, Wen-Yi, who was only at the peak of the great saint realm, let out a miserable cry as he was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood in midair. His body shattered, and blood splattered everywhere. Wen-Yi's strength fluctuated between strong and weak, and he was no longer at the peak of the great saint realm. It wasn't that his realm had fallen. It was that he was so heavily injured that he couldn't even exert the strength of a peak great saint. In fact, Wen-Yi's injuries were much more serious than they looked. Plop! Wen-Yi fell straight to the ground, creating a huge crater on the bluestone floor. Wen-Yi, on the other hand, was lying on the ground, twitching continuously. He wanted to get up, but he couldn't get up at all. Even a peak great saint couldn't withstand a single blow from a mid-level undying realm expert. "Kill him and take that woman away," the Pang family's patriarch sneered. Then, several Pang family's disciples rushed out, charging at Wen-Yi and Gongsun Ningyu respectively. Gongsun Ningyu was terrified, but she didn't run away. Instead, she ran directly toward Wen-Yi. At the same time, she glared fiercely at these people. She had decided that even if she had to expose the secret of her soul becoming a saint, she would fight these people to the death. However, her soul hadn't even reached 1 star, and her soul attack was far inferior to Murong-Yu's. Whether or not she could kill an undying realm expert was still a problem. The Pang family's people were about to approach Wen-Yi and Gongsun Ningyu. They were about to be captured or killed. But at this moment, a faint voice was heard, "Let's see who dares to touch them." Although the voice was calm, it was extremely cold, and contained a terrifying killing intent. The Pang family's disciples immediately stopped and looked at the direction of the voice with a stiff expression. Because when the voice sounded in their ears, their hearts were shrouded by an extremely strong aura of death. Otherwise, why would they be so obedient? The Pang family's patriarch's face instantly turned gloomy and looked over. Then, he began to snicker coldly and his face was full of disdain. "Big Brother Murong!" Gongsun Ningyu, who was originally running toward Wen-Yi, exclaimed at this time with a face full of ecstasy. She almost ran to Murong-Yu's side. Wen-Yi, who was lying on the ground with serious injuries, was relieved after hearing Murong-Yu's voice. It seemed that as long as Murong-Yu arrived, the crisis would be over. The person who came was none other than Murong-Yu. Since the Zhao Jiqing incident, Murong-Yu and the girls had been relaxing while hurrying along. After a long time, they arrived at the left origin city. However, he didn't expect to see this scene after entering the left origin city. Immediately, Murong Yu, who was originally unhappy because of the Zhao Jiqing incident, immediately burst out the anger and killing intent that he had suppressed for the past few days. Trash, what are you waiting for? Seeing that the Pang family's disciples were intimidated by Murong Yu's words, the Pang family's patriarch couldn't help but feel a little angry and embarrassed. Wasn't he just a second-stage great saint? How could he be intimidated by such a person? Did he think that an intermediate-stage great ancestor like him was dead? Hearing this, the Pang family's disciples looked at each other. They wanted to obediently capture Gongsun Ningyu and kill Wen Yi. However, they didn't move at all, because when the Pang family's patriarch spoke, the killing intent in their hearts grew stronger. Seeing this, the Pang family's patriarch was immediately furious. However, he wasn't a fool. He knew that these people dared to disobey his orders, and it wasn't their intention. Therefore, he looked at Murong Yu and his eyes flickered. However, no matter how he looked, he could only see that Murong Yu was just a second-stage great saint. Murong Yu no longer hid his cultivation realm. After all, soul attacks were his means. Moreover, if one's cultivation realm was too low, there would be a lot of trouble. A high cultivation realm could deter some people of lower cultivation realms and avoid a lot of trouble. He didn't find anything special about Murong Yu. Little bastard, how dare you make trouble here? Go and take him down for me. The Pang family's patriarch looked at Murong Yu with a gloomy face and waved his hand to let a Pang family's great saint beside him to take down Murong Yu. As for the girls around Murong Yu, he took the initiative to ignore them. They were just ordinary great saints and posed no threat at all. Whoosh! Before the Pang family's patriarch finished speaking, the Pang family's great saint had already dashed out. Halfway there, he had already reached out with his large hand, which turned into a claw, and slammed it down hard on Murong Yu's head. A powerful force erupted. If Murong Yu's head was grabbed by him, most likely it would explode right away. Of course, the premise was that Murong Yu was just an ordinary great saint. Good timing. Murong Yu shouted coldly and took a step forward. Without any fancy moves, he blasted forward in an ordinary manner. The Pang family's great saint saw a blur in front of his eyes. Then, he felt as if he had slammed into a huge rock. A sharp pain spread through his body, piercing through his heart. However, before he could be surprised, an incomparably terrifying force came from the huge rock. The great saint was shocked. Just as he was about to withdraw his hand, the incomparably powerful force had already surged into his hand. Bang! His entire arm was blown to smithereens. At the same time, Murong Yu's iron fist continued forward and fiercely smashed into his chest. Instantly, the great saint felt a sharp pain in his chest. Then there was no then. The force exploded violently, and his entire body was directly shattered. His body shattered, and his soul was about to escape. However, it was sucked over by a terrifying suction force. Then, before he knew where his soul was, his vision turned black and he lost consciousness. A one-hit kill. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people couldn't help but change their expressions. Although the Pang family's great saint wasn't very powerful, he was still a fifth-stage great saint. But he was killed by a second-stage great saint with a single punch? Swish! Everyone's gazes landed on Murong Yu. There was disbelief, surprise, horror, disdain, and murderous intent. Chapter 1297. You little bastard, you're good. The Pang family's mid-level undying ancestor quickly reacted. While praising Murong Yu, he walked towards Murong Yu with a sinister grin. Murderous intent emanated from his body, bursting forth in all directions. Seeing the Pang family's ancestor slowly approaching, Murong Yu shouted to Yu Mengqing and the others, "You guys go over. Be careful. Yu Mengqing and the others didn't hesitate. Then, he walked towards Gong Sunning. They didn't stop Morongyu because they knew that Morongyu had been sullen these days. He needed to find out. The Pang family's ancestor was undoubtedly the best target for Morongyu to vent. Kill. Morongyu roared as he stomped the ground beneath his feet. Borrowing the force of the stomp, he soared into the sky. In midair, he grabbed at the void and the dragonbone flaming needle appeared in his hand. Boom! The dragonbone flaming needle erupted with white holy light, and a powerful force poured out in all directions like a torrent. The surrounding void trembled from the impact. However, the dragonbone flaming needle didn't erupt with the power of a soul attack. Morongyu didn't need to use a soul attack for the time being. He needed to fight to vent the sullenness in his heart. As a result, he used all the power of the medium-quality Saint artifact with the dragonbone flaming needle in his hand. Afterwards, he swung it at the ancestor of the Pang family who was striding over. If a mid-level Saint artifact's power was fully activated, even the weakest one would be comparable to an undying expert. The dragonbone flaming needle was a high-grade mid-level Saint artifact. With Morongyu activating half of its power, it was comparable to a mid-level undying expert. Moreover, ever since Morongyu stepped into the second level of the Great Saint realm, his strength was comparable to a first-level undying expert. Combined, Morongyu's strength was comparable to an undying expert. You're overestimating yourself. The Pang family's ancestor sneered and punched out. Suddenly, the surrounding people saw bright stars appear near his fist. Each and every one of these stars contained explosive power. They tore through the void and shot towards Morongyu. Big Dipper Fist. One of the Pang family's most powerful battle techniques. Using it to the extreme, with a single punch, a sky full of stars burst out, capable of destroying heaven and earth. It was extremely terrifying. However, the Pang family's ancestor obviously couldn't unleash the true power of the Big Dipper Fist. This was because he could only produce 7 stars in one punch. Big Dipper Fist. Maze Finger. Morongyu sneered inwardly as he executed one of the moves of the Great Change Halberd Manual from the Black Tortoise scripture. All of a sudden, the shadows of the staff shrouded the void in front of him, drowning the Pang family's patriarch. Boom! 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 Tens of thousands of staff shadows collided with the stars unleashed by the Pang family patriarch. Exploded. However, it was obvious that Morongyu had the upper hand. This was because the number of staff shadows he created was quite large. After shattering the 7 stars, the shadows continued to strangle the Pang family's ancestor. The Pang family's ancestor was shocked. His eyes flashed with surprise. However, he still sneered. He roared inwardly and unleashed the second move of the Big Dipper Fist, Big Dipper Demonic Finger. In an instant, layers upon layers of finger silhouettes clashed with Morongyu's endless staff silhouette. Pointing straight at the universe, Morongyu had countless powerful battle techniques. After the first move, he unleashed the second move. The dragon bone flaming needle turned into a divine dragon and pierced through the void toward the Pang family's ancestor's chest. It was so fast that the dragon bone flaming needle was already in front of the Pang family's ancestor before he could react. The Pang family's ancestor was shocked and immediately retreated. At the same time, he clawed at the dragon bone flaming needle in an attempt to block it or even snatch it. Clouds split the blue sky, wind and rain. Morongyu turned his staff into a saber and unleashed the unique saber technique. Streaks of saber radiance slashed the void with terrifying sonic booms and forced the Pang family's ancestor to retreat. However, it was not easy for Morongyu to kill him. Spatial shackle, spatial barrier, spatial oscillation, spatial slash. During this process, Morongyu could not help but unleash a spatial battle technique. Puff, the Pang family's ancestor, was retreating again and again. However, all of a sudden, he seemed to have bumped into something that actually blocked his retreating figure. Not only that, but he was also forced to take a step forward. While the Pang family's ancestor was still in shock, streaks of invisible but extremely dangerous aura came strangling toward him. Roar! The Pang family's ancestor roared. In an instant, his body flickered with sacred light and soared into the sky. Boundless holy light enveloped his entire body. Rumble, just as he unleashed his ultimate strength to protect himself, spatial battle techniques like the spatial slash slashed at him. Bang! 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 Not far away, the crowd saw the Pang family's ancestor being slashed left and right like a lonely boat in a stormy sea. He was unable to take an effective defensive stance. Furthermore, the holy light that burst out from his body quickly dimmed under the invisible attack. The Pang family's ancestor roared in anger. A red light shot out from between his eyebrows and expanded with the wind until it was suspended above his head. It was a red umbrella that was spinning above the Pang family's ancestor, bursting out balls of red light that fell down and protected the Pang family's ancestor. A mid-grade sacred weapon. Under the Pang family's ancestor's control, the power of the mid-grade sacred weapon was pushed to the limit. It was comparable to a high-level undying expert. Although it clanged from the attacks, it still managed to block Morong Yu's spatial battle technique. However, even though he'd managed to block Morong Yu's attack, it didn't mean that he'd be able to escape from it. At this moment, Morong Yu had already unleashed his fastest speed and raised his strength to the limit. He unleashed a barrage of attacks at the Pang family's ancestor. The Dragon Elephant Prajna Art, the Tiger's Roar Royal Fist, the Great Vajra Chakra Seal, the Black Tortoise Scripture, and all the battle skills he knew, as well as all the moves he had learnt from the mortal world to the saint's world, were all unleashed by him. As a mid-undying expert, the Pang family's ancestor was like a sandbag under Morong Yu's barrage of attacks. All he could do was endure Morong Yu's attacks without being able to fight back. There was nothing he could do about it. Morong Yu's attacks were just too fast and concentrated. He unleashed tens of millions of attacks in a single breath. Even if each attack was not strong, what would happen if tens of millions of attacks were gathered into a single attack? With such a high frequency of attacks, the Pang family's ancestor's blood chi was in turmoil. He staggered from side to side, unable to fight back. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were stunned. In their knowledge, the Pang family's ancestor was already in existence at the peak of Left Origin City. Only he could suppress others. How could others suppress him? What kind of situation was this? He was actually beaten to the point of being unable to fight back by a great saint? Everyone was extremely surprised. Moreover, they could clearly see that the light from the Pang family's ancestor's sacred weapon was constantly dimming. In other words, Morong Yu's attacks were exhausting the sacred weapon. I wonder if the Pang family's ancestor's sacred weapon will be destroyed? Countless people secretly discussed as they watched. All of them were looking forward to it. However, no one in Left Origin City had a good impression of the Pang family. Even if Morong Yu destroyed the entire Pang family, they would only rejoice and not sympathize with the Pang family, who asked the Pang family to do all kinds of bad things. The Pang family's ancestor spat out a large mouthful of blood. This was because he was injured by Morong Yu, but it was more because he was angry. A dignified ancestor was beaten like a sandbag. Moreover, he could not escape even if he wanted to. He now felt as if the space in the entire holy world was not pleasing to the eye. It was constantly squeezing him and strangling him crazily. This was because Morong Yu used the power of space to suppress, restrain, and even attack. Otherwise, even if Morong Yu's attacks were 1,000 times more powerful, the Pang family's ancestor could easily escape. Yin-Yang Cauldron. With a thought from Morong Yu, the Yin-Yang Cauldron immediately tore through the void from the ninth heaven. It contained a terrifying aura that could destroy the world and press down rapidly. The Pang family's ancestor was immediately enveloped by an extremely dangerous aura. However, before he could react, the yin-yang cauldron had already pressed down on the small red umbrella above his head with a tremendous force. Crack, a crisp sound rang out, and the mid-grade saint artifact was shattered. The Pang family's ancestor's mind was immediately injured and he spat out blood again. However, the yin-yang cauldron only paused for a moment before continuing to press down with a tremendous force. In a hurry, the Pang family's ancestor's fists erupted with soaring saint light as he punched out. Swish. At the same time, Murong Yu had already retreated. Soul attack. The flaming dragon bone needle erupted with dazzling saint light. Murong Yu's soulfire of chaos was contained in the flaming dragon bone needle's attack as it surged towards the Pang family's ancestor like a torrent. The Pang family's ancestor was completely focused on resisting the yin-yang cauldron. He had no idea that Murong Yu had already killed him. By the time he reacted, the boundless soulfire of chaos had already rushed into his spiritual space and rapidly attacked his soul. At that moment, the people nearby heard the Pang family's ancestor roar. Then, his movements became sluggish. In the next moment, the yin-yang cauldron had already smashed down. With a pft, the Pang family's ancestor's entire body was turned into a bloody mist. He couldn't even withstand a single blow. For a moment, everyone who saw this scene was stunned. They all looked at the yin-yang cauldron with shock and greed. They all thought that the yin-yang cauldron had killed the Pang family's ancestor. However, they didn't know that the Pang family's ancestor's soul had already been destroyed before the yin-yang cauldron landed. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.